Hello, it's Sydney's. For all of you that have asked for it, I'm finally doing a Scream related live stream, specifically Ryan, but over the years. Streaming, I'm not the biggest fan of streaming, but when I have my friends with me, it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, you can see I have the great T. Parker Evans with me. T. Parker Evans, you're not necessarily a YouTuber as far as like doing live stuff on YouTube, or I should say doing videos on YouTube, but you're in a lot of chats. So why don't you tell everybody about what you do and how they can find you or what you want people to follow you on.
So I do a lot of photography, also videos, reels for like anything horror like, um, commercials, ads, pretty much an inspired filmmaker. And I'm more active on Instagram and Twitter, so you can find me on Instagram at tpevans underscore and on Twitter at Evans Tarek.
Okay. I have some of his links in the description. I did not know his Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, link. So I apologize for that. I guess I should have asked you that, but I just knew what I knew. You can also find him on Letterbox. That's very important. So
Gotcha.
make sure you follow that link on Letterbox. Of course, you can find me on Letterbox, Instagram. Those are the two main things that I use. I have a X/Twitter account, whatever you want to call it. I'm used to saying Twitter. I barely use it, although it's still active. I go on it like once every 3 months to just look at all the dumb stuff that's on that. So you guys all know me. I'm a Scream fanatic. T. Parker Evans is a Scream fanatic, but it's not his favorite franchise of all time. It is my favorite franchise of all time.
It's number two.
Yeah, but it's only number two, where mine is number one. Any franchise against Scream, Scream takes priority. Star Wars, Fast and the Furious, which I do like the Fast and the Furious movies, some of them at least. Um, Anything Scream is like way above everything else. And T. Parker Evans, he's like one of the people I go to for anything Scream related, as well, of course, as Dexter content. If there's something Dexter or Scream related, I want to talk to T. Parker Evans, or maybe the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section for Dexter stuff sometimes, but certainly T. Parker Evans or him for Dexter stuff. But so we're here to talk about Scream, just kind of our history with the Scream franchise, what got us into it, our anticipation for each movie, which we had to think about what happened during those times because the movie started in 1996. And just obviously, we'll go into Scream 7. We'll catch up on the chat at some point too, which Ryan was in the chat. I don't see him commenting anymore, but I appreciate Ryan for when people ask me to do something, I usually do it. It's just a matter of somebody has to request it, which if they don't, then I don't like streaming. I'm actually in the middle of 24 right now, and 24 is very addictive. And it also has Yvonne Strahovski in it. She's not in it yet, but she's in it towards the end. So I'm eagerly anticipating Hannah from Dexter. So Ryan is still here. I know he was in Willis Credia's live stream. So by all means, if you want to watch that stream as well, pay attention to Charles or Willis Credia or CP, whatever you want to call him. He's got some good stuff going on over there. It's possible that he might do a live watch along for all the Puppet Master movies. Obviously not in a row, but it's possible because he has some medical stuff that he needs to pay for. So to put him through the pain and agony of maybe getting people to donate, he'll watch all the Puppet Master movies. So I don't know if that's official yet. I went off the stream, but let's kick things off talking about Scream. T. Parker, do you want to go first? Do you want me to take this one?
I mean, you can go first.
Okay, so with the original Scream, which came out in 1996, I know this might be a cardinal sin to some of you, but I didn't see it in the theater. I didn't really hear anything about it, to be honest with you. Now, my memory of it is possibly not 100% accurate, but the once towards the end of its theater run, that's when I started hearing about it. And my friend Chuck was like the Scream fanatic at the time. He's like, you got to watch this movie. And I want to say, so I looked it up and it came out in physical media in June or July of 1996. I believe that's the case. I don't think I bought it until the Christmas season. I want to say I got it around Christmas time and then watched it. I remember not wanting because they had like different covers for the VHS tape. I don't know if you remember that back then. That ages me a little bit. I'm almost 45. But I didn't want the Drew Barrymore cover, so I've never been a fan of Drew Barrymore. Nothing against her personally, just wasn't a fan of Drew Barrymore for some reason. and I wanted either Courtney Cox or Nev Campbell, and that wasn't available at the time, but luckily it eventually got in. So I believe I watched Scream for the first time in the winter late 1996. I could be wrong on that, but I know for sure I watched it right before I saw Scream 2, the most amazing horror movie of all time, in my opinion, and at least for the Scream franchise, T. Parker Evans' opinion. Although, never know, that might change someday. These movies are all really good. There's no really bad one. T. Parker might say Scream 6. I disagree with that. I think the movie is a pretty, one of the most overrated horror movies of all time. I shouldn't pick on Halloween. It's just the fact that it was made in 1978, and when I watch it, like it's good for like how it looks and the atmosphere, but I feel like it's a little boring. But I don't want to upset anybody because you probably already canceled me. In fact, I think it's time that I start doing this because I'm sure everybody wants to. Let's just cancel J Dev because he just bashed Halloween 1978. So there, I canceled myself. So that's what I remember about my history with Scream. Any other details? Oh, I guess I should say when I watched it finally, I thought it was very predictable. I knew Billy Loomis was one of the killers, and I should say, spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen the movies, but for some reason wanted to see me do a live stream. That might be the case. Yeah, I thought it was predictable, and then I figured there was another killer, and it was either Stu or Randy, and I got that right. I didn't know for sure which one it was, but I just thought it was predictable. It's a good movie. I have a lot of fun with it, especially. Well, I don't want to get too much into it. I'll let T. Parker Evans talk about his experience with Scream, and it's an interesting one.
All right. So pretty much when I first got into Scream, it wasn't the original. It was actually Scream 2. I was, I believe, 5 when I first saw Scream 2. So me being 5, I couldn't comprehend what I was watching on screen, but I just remember, of course, the opening, Cece's chase scene, along with Gail's chase scene, and of course the big reveal. But I didn't understand that because I was 5. So pretty much, I didn't get into the franchise until Scream 4 was coming out back in 2011, and I started watching the franchise. So I started Scream, but I knew the killers already because I saw Scary Movie first as well. So you know how the two films are similar in terms of Scary Movie and making fun of Scream. So I kind of guess who's who. So yeah, and the original Scream, I thought it was one of the best horror films I've ever seen, and I just went into Scream 2. I remember certain things, but I fully understand it now. And I was amazed on how much better, in my opinion, Scream 2 is compared to the original.
T. Parker just got canceled by half the audience. The one person that's in here thus far. Yeah, I agree with your sentiments about Scream 2. And it's not that I don't like Scream. I just didn't appreciate it at first, but it's my favorite horror, or actually my favorite movies of all time. It's either 15th or 16th, with Scream 2 being 4th or 5th. So it's not like Scream is up there. I just felt like with Scream, I didn't really appreciate a lot of the characters. I feel like there's only two really solid performances in Scream, and that'll probably get me canceled. Stu and Tatum were like the show stealers of Scream. Everybody else had their moments, but I felt like Stu and Tatum really, really made the movie. Sydney would probably be third. Did not like Dewey, did not like Gail. Billy Loomis, wasn't the biggest fan of Billy Loomis, but I appreciate him more over the years because he's come back for a couple other films in the franchise. But I just felt like Scream 2 up the ante everything, and everybody has a really good performance. We're talking about Cece, we're talking about Randy. I think I didn't mention Randy was very plain in Scream. He really was really I really liked Randy in Scream 2, and then they unfortunately killed him off. So to whoever's idea that was in Scream 2 to cancel Randy, or not cancel Randy, to kill off Randy, guess what? You are hereby canceled because that was a bad decision. But it made the movie. Like, it's a memorable movie because what they did for Scream 2. So I want to just catch up on the chat of everything that's kind of been put in the chat thus far. We have Ryan. Thanks, JDev. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I did this all for you. Like, right when you told me you wanted me to do it, it's like, okay. I'm obligated to do it. I'm enjoying it thus far. Ryan says he's still here because I wasn't sure if he was still here. Did you see Scream 1 in the theaters? I mentioned maybe you said that before I mentioned it. I did not. I did not see Scream 1 in the theaters, but I've seen all the other movies more than once in the theater. And then I asked how my audio was because when you got into the StreamYard backstage, my audio didn't sound as good. So I just wanted to double check to make sure that's great. And he mentioned that. I said, excellent. Versus a movie, J Dev for life. Yay. Excellent. Thank you. Love Stacy and great TParker. Okay. Hey Stacy, I'm not sure who that person is, so that they're new to my channel. So appreciate you being in here. What's your favorite Laurie Metcalf performance, or is she better in Eternal Affairs? I mean, Scream 2, because that's my favorite horror movie of all time. I do also like Laurie Metcalf in Big Bang Theory as Laurie Cooper, Sheldon's mom. I thought she did a really good job, being the mother of this weird kid that does everything very differently. TParker, what about you?
Well, I didn't see Internal Affairs, so for me it would be Scream 2, but if not Scream 2, I would say she was amazing in Lady Bird. Have you seen that?
Okay. No, I have not.
It's very good.
Yeah, the only thing I think I've seen her in is Scream 2, Big Bang Theory. I'm sure there's other things that I've seen her in. I just don't remember quite. Like, I know she's in Roseanne.
Roseanne.
I don't think I've ever actually watched an episode of Roseanne all the way through. I might have watched like a minute or two here and there. Just, you never know. These TV shows that I watched like years later, I end up liking. Like 24, I'm really liking it. I'm not watching too many episodes in a row, though. I watch like 2 or 3. I don't want to spend my whole night and day watching 24 because the weird thing about me is with these, I usually tend to doze off. Like I had been watching Hannibal, and I was liking Hannibal quite a bit. It's a little artsy and it's a little slow moving. And I was like falling asleep through every episode, which that happened in You season 4, but I did not like You season 4, but I did like Hannibal. I just, for some reason, it puts me to sleep. So right now I'm stuck at the end of season 2 for Hannibal. Let's see here. Best kill in a movie 1 or movie 2 combined. I assume this is a Scream question. I'd say the best kill, if we're talking about Scream, is probably Casey Becker. That's like a very memorable kill. We didn't see a lot of Randy's kill, so that I wouldn't classify that as a good kill. I still don't believe Randy's dead, actually.
Really?
Well, I don't know. I feel like they could easily bring him back if they really wanted to. Say he
Absolutely
went into
not.
hiding or something like that. I mean, the
Absolutely
fans
not.
would want it. Would you actually be upset if Randy came back alive?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's a
I,
little
I,
far
I'm much
fetched.
rather still come back. I mean,
Well, yeah, we'll
that
give
would
you
make more
Stu back.
sense. I mean, that'd be stupid, but like,
And then the whole big twist at the end could be Randy's actually the killer and wants to kill Sidney Prescott because he's her love slave or whatever he mentioned in Scream 2, which I can't believe I don't know the quote off the top of my head. I know it, but I'll mess it up if I say it.
it's just for me. 29 years later, he just come back out of nowhere. No one knows he's alive. What's been alive this entire time? Not his sister.
JDev, you seem like a natural for YouTube. I mean, I do a good job. I will say this, and this is getting a little personal. At some point in 2018 or 2019, I've had a slight cognitive decline where like I have trouble pronouncing words all of a sudden. Things don't come to memory right away. So I'll like keep repeating the same thing, trying to think of what I want to say. And that never used to happen. I don't know if that's old age or I got something wrong. Nothing's been diagnosed. No other health issues. Just my brain seems to be a little bit more foggy. So that's why I'm not a big fan of live streams. Maybe I play it off like nothing's affecting me, but I feel like some people would notice, and that's why I don't necessarily like live streams all that much. But who knows? I take vitamins that I stopped taking certain vitamins that were like that just Centrum vitamins, which don't help your brain that much, and then I started taking these other vitamins which do, and it's improved, but it hasn't gotten like to the point that I was back in the day because I used to be I still feel like I'm really sharp, but I used to be a lot more sharper when it comes to things. So I'm more of a make a video, record it, and upload it versus a live stream, especially because I get mentally exhausted or my left eye starts to bother me, which right now, not bothering me at all, or my nose starts to itch, which my right nostril starts to itch. But anyway, thank you for that comment. I appreciate the natural for YouTube. I feel like I do a good job, especially when it's one of my subjects that I like to talk about, like Dexter, Scream, The Walking Dead, maybe some UFC related content, which we're not talking about that right now. So, and do you guys think Jill will be in Scream 7 in some capacity, or would we have heard something? TParker, I'll let you take that one to start since you're the Jill fan.
Yeah, I am. I feel like Joe, along with the other killers from the first four, maybe five films, will be back in some type of deep fake AI technology that relates to the main mystery of the movie with Ghostface in terms of torturing Sydney, Gail mentally. I can see it happen because if you go on Instagram, Emma Roberts follows the company, not Spyglass, but someone else. Forgot the name of the company that's producing Scream 7. So yeah, I feel like she will be part of the film in some way.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you simply because it hasn't been announced yet. Like I don't think Jill's
But
gonna be in it. I don't. Okay, it makes it seem like I don't like Jill. I don't have a problem with Jill at all. I think it was one of the more obvious killers in my opinion because of her getting stabbed, like in the action, or her wrist getting cut. Of course, Derek got cut too, and he wasn't the killer, but he was supposed to be. But I just think they would have announced it already if Jill was going to be in the movie. But
how
maybe
about
they have
Skeet?
some surprises.
How about
I mean,
Skeet Ulrich?
I think that he has been announced.
They haven't confirmed it, just been
Okay.
rumors.
I mean, he was in the last two, so I feel like that's a given that he's going to be in it, but who knows? But I mean, there's been no mention of Mickey. There's been no mention of Debbie Salt. So who knows? No
Who
mention of
knows?
Jack Quaid. No mention of Mikey
He
Madison, which
did
we
an
can have.
interview about that. Jack Quaid.
Please go on because I haven't heard that.
Yeah, while he was promoting his new movie, Novocaine,
Okay.
someone asked him if he's going to be in Scream 5, and he said, I can't answer that. Like, well, something like, I can't answer that right now. So,
Okay.
not confirming or denying.
Okay. Well, that holds hope. I do think Jack Quaid's a remarkable and talented actor. I really like some of the roles that he does. I was actually watching him get interviewed by the great Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. So check that out on his channel. I just did a video chat with Sean yesterday. Like talking to Sean, we were talking about 24 because that's one of his favorite shows of all time, and he listens to me talk his ear off about Hannah, and he's Team Rita. So that's interesting.
Oh,
So
interesting. What
yeah,
is the show 24?
it's a show that started in 2020. 20 no, that's not right. There's my brain fogging up. 2001 it started shortly after 9/11. The premise is the whole season takes place in one day, so it's each episode is an hour, so it's 24 episodes. And basically you have this like agent played by Kiefer Sutherland who there's like a political stuff involved. His family gets kidnapped. There's an assassination attempt on the potential president of the United States. I just am really liking it, and then I know like who I actually watched his spoiler ranking of all the seasons because I wanted to kind of hear what he said about it, and I like it. I bought the whole box set, and I'm hopefully gonna finish it all, but there's no guarantees. I might start dozing off in season 3 or 4. But so far, and I think I'm 19 or 20 episodes into it, I'm liking it a lot. So 24, I mean, if you're into that stuff, which I really like the Night Agent on Netflix,
What
it's
stream
like the Night
service?
Agent like is a direct copy to a degree of 24, except the whole season doesn't take place in one day.
Hmm.
So right now there's 8 original seasons, and then they came back for one additional season with Kiefer Sutherland, and then they came back with a reboot with Corey Hawkins, who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton, which I have not bought that yet. I don't know if I'll even make it that far, but I will buy it if I can make it that far, but there's no guarantees. So, yeah, it's different, but for some reason, I didn't expect to be this into it, but I'm pretty into it. So, I'm enjoying it. So, that was what's in the chat at the moment. So, I'll just talk. TParker kind of talked about his history with Scream 2 and Scream. Obviously, I have a big history with Scream 2. Was really excited to see that once I finally saw Scream, and I want to say it was the end of 1996. Maybe it was beginning of 97 because we know that Scream came out in February of 97. And my friend Chuck was obsessed about it. That's all he talked about. And I wasn't that obsessed with it yet, but obviously Scream 2 happened when it happened. The opening night, which I believe was February 12th, 1997. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say I'm right.
I,
We
s- oh, sorry. It was actually December
was
1997.
was it December of 97?
December, yeah.
Okay, then that would why am I thinking that's February for some reason?
I'm
Well,
thinking of Scream 3 came out in February 2000.
it's maybe. I apologize. There you could take my Scream fan card away from me if I'm messing up these dates. That would make more sense that I saw it in like the winter time for Scream 2, but for some reason I was thinking it came out in February of 97. Or but who knows? Anyway, nonetheless, the dates, I guess they don't really matter, but I should have my Scream card taken away from me. My mom finally agreed to take us to the theater because I was 16 at the time. My friend was 13 or 14, I want to say. I can't remember how old. He's born in 82. I guess he'd be 15 at the time. And so we get there and they're packed. And then right when we get there, we're sold out. Now, coincidentally, my grandma had gave me $40 like the day before. For some random reason, she just gave me $40. And these two girls, or teenagers, are like, "Hey, you want to buy our tickets?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I just gave her the $40 for back in whatever year the movie came out, 96 or 97. I paid $40 for two tickets for Scream 2. And I must say, I had a blast watching Scream 2. I loved every moment of the film, aside from the drama scenes with the drama teacher. That kind of slowed it down a bit, in my opinion, with the Cassandra stuff and stuff, and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed like all the performances. Obviously, Sydney, I think it's Sydney's best film in the franchise. It's Dewey's best film, although some people would say part five. I don't know about that. Gail's best performance in Scream. Cotton Weary did really good, but I felt like Cotton was the secret killer in that movie. I mean, what was he doing at the college at the end of the movie? He was like, I found Dewey's body. Like, what were you doing there, Cotton? How did you get there? Unless he got a phone call off screen or something like that to come there. Mickey, I think, did really good. I really enjoyed that whole scene with them arguing in the film class. I think that was good. Sarah Michelle Gellar for her minor role in the movie, like that's like the biggest thing I've seen her in because I have yet to watch Buffy, although I own it if I want to watch it. And I just enjoyed all the performances in Scream 2. I absolutely loved the movie. Joel, the cameraman, he was great too. The part with Randy talking to the killer in the courtyard, I love that whole scene. I think it was really well done. And then Randy's death kind of caught me by surprise, but I liked it quite a bit. I spent the whole movie like trying to figure out who the killer was. Maybe it's obvious nowadays, but back when I'm 16, I could not for the life of me figure out the killer who it was. Like they kept zooming in on people's shoes. I thought for sure Cotton was the killer, and then I thought Joel was the other killer if they were going to have two killers, and I was wrong. I did not think Debbie Smaltz, aka Mrs. Loomis, and Mickey were the killer. I actually liked Mickey's character a lot, and I was a little sad to see him be the killer. And he got a little psycho once he became the killer, but still, I think it was a great reveal, a great final act. I think it's the perfect movie. I know you would cancel me saying that other people would cancel me saying that Scream is much better, but I loved Scream 2, and I'll die on that hill. It'll never be Scream. I will never put Scream over Scream 2 because that's what got me really into the franchise. Like I liked it after seeing Scream, but I loved it after seeing Scream 2. I just can't believe that you started with Scream 2 and then worked your way back eventually at some point. But hey, you
What can I
saw him,
say?
you
I
love
was
him.
5.
Yeah, I was 16, depending on what year the movie actually came out and what month your movie came out. But
Yeah, it's not by choice. It was by choice, so I watched in order.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna catch up on the chat. I've only missed a couple chats. Or one, I guess. Do you guys believe that Stu survived and will be a prominent role in Scream 7 or just used as AI or a deep fake? I'll take that one. I mean, what I want to happen versus what I think will happen. Obviously I want Stu to still be alive. He only had a tube TV dropped on his head and electrocuted a little bit. People could survive from that. Jason Voorhees. um, I wanted to be alive, but I feel like it is going to be AI deepfake stuff. It only makes sense. Or what they'll do is they'll make you think he's dead and just show you like flashback. Like I feel like we're gonna get a flashback or a scene that we haven't seen yet of Billy, Roman, and Stu planning to kill Maureen Prescott. I think we're gonna get that in the movie at some point, and then they'll show that. They might show one other scene, and then we'll think that's gonna be the end of Stu, and then he'll show up at the end. Fingers crossed. Don't know. Probably not. But I feel like I personally want Stu to be alive, at least initially. Now, if they want to kill him off by Sydney, fine, but at least have Stu alive to appease me. And for all us Stew trained people, we can at least say he was alive. We knew it. I mean, that was the original plan in Scream 3 to have Stu being alive. So I think TParker agrees with the AI stuff, but I'll let him take that one as well.
For me, it's just if you want to bring back Stu, all I ask is just make it make sense. I just want good plots, make it make sense. So I feel like the AI is easier to make it make sense compared to him being alive. But I trust Kevin. If he can make it make sense, let's do it.
I agree. And I feel like it should be like a cliffhanger ending where all of a sudden Stu does something, maybe not kill somebody, but to reveal that he's alive. And then the end. Dun dun dun. Scream 8, can't wait for it. I think
That's
they're
the
already
way
in
to do it.
production. Aren't they already in production for Scream 8 or something close to that?
It's rumored, but it's from a very reliable source. So
Okay.
if I feel like 7 would be the cliffhanger we get.
I hope so. I want to see Stu alive. I mean, I don't really, I don't want to get my hopes up though, because I feel like it won't happen, but it would be cool. But obviously the AI deepfake stuff, that's going to be predominantly what we get of Stu. Probably like a flashback of something we haven't seen yet with him, Billy, and Roman going over what they're going to do to Maureen Prescott. I think that's what's going to happen. Do you think that they're going to explore that in the movie? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I was asking if you think that they're going to explore the Maureen death with Stu, Billy, and Roman.
Oh, so about that, I keep hearing people saying that we will get flashbacks in this movie, but like we never had a flashback ever in the Scream movie.
First time for everything.
That's true. But
I feel
like
like that's like with Roman coming back. That's unless what's going to happen is Sydney's going to be haunted by each ghost face, and she's going to have like sequences or hallucinations of each ghost face, and that's how they bring in Scott Foley. But I feel like since Roman was the mastermind behind everything, if that's still canon, we'll see if it's still canon after this movie. I think that's what we're going to get is the planning of Maureen's death or something to that degree. Who knows? Just my thoughts. I could be completely wrong though.
yeah, I mean, like you said, first time for everything for flashbacks. It's just I'm curious how they would do it, but like I feel like they could have showed us like footage that was recorded but never shown before. But flashbacks, maybe.
Probably. We'll see. Do you guys hope that they continue Scream films after 8, or is there a limit you would want to see? I mean, obviously, I don't want them to milk a dead horse. You know, if it makes sense, if they bring back the characters that we like, I I think this or the next one should be it for Sydney personally, because how many times can she survive Ghostface? I'm not saying she should die, but she should have her real ending, go off in the sunset, and let somebody else be terrorized by a guy in a Ghostface mask. With that said, though, money talks, and if they keep throwing her money and she likes the script, she'll keep coming back. But I feel like, you know, we should probably get new characters to focus on at some point, or eventually, if things can get, you know, well, I don't think they'll get solved or things smooth over with Melissa Barrera. I would like to see that story continued. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. She said something about not with Spyglass involved, but I mean, time heals all wounds. It's a bad wound, but I feel like eventually we will see Sam again in the Scream franchise. And I personally love Scream 6. Scream 5, not the biggest fan of that movie, her role in the movie, but I love Sam. in Scream 6. So let's talk about. Oh, we got more people in the chat. It's Brad. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I can't complain. I like talking Scream, especially with TParker Evans. So it's nice to have a stream devoted to Scream. I mean, I want to talk Dexter too, but let's save that for another time. For all the people that want to see me or hear me and TParker talk about Dexter and Brad, if you want to join any Dexter related stream, you're more than welcome to as well. Let me know if you guys want to see me do a Dexter related stream. It's always been something that I've thought about. And then when it comes time to do it, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do a stream. I'd rather just do my review video of it. So that's my thoughts on that. Ryan says, hey, Brad. Yo, Ryan. I heard that Nev agreed to some contract. As long as she's in the movie, she won't die. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. How do you guys expect Chad or Mindy to get used without Melissa? Let's table that. I know you probably want an answer right away, but we need to focus on Scream 4 and 3 and 6 before we get to Scream 7, if possible. Yes, we definitely need to do a Dexter stream. Maybe once we see the season trailer for Dexter Resurrection, and hopefully there's a reveal that Hannah McKay comes back. Gotta mention my Hannah every time. Yeah, and I hope Dokes comes back as at least like a, somebody that Dexter hears. I think they should do a bunch of people that Dexter hears. Brian Moser, Rita, Dokes, in addition to Harry and other people. Deb, if she even is in it, which I don't think Deb's going to be in Dexter Resurrection, at least not right away.
Maybe.
If she is in it, it's a very limited role. Yes, Dexter stream. Yeah, I'll talk Dexter with everybody. I initially had a thought of doing a Dexter stream with TParker and Cody Leach. I have yet to talk to Cody Leach about that. It's one of those things, like, at the time I was a very small YouTuber with 700 subscribers at the time, and then some Dexter content, maybe up to 5,000 plus. So maybe it'd be a little more appealing. Not that Cody Leach would not do it; he would do it. It's just a matter of like he's a busy guy, and I make time for these things. Like I can just drop everything where he's got family life, he's got his full-time YouTube position, and other things going on. So it'll happen someday. Yep. All good. I haven't heard any news of Deb, so I assume she's not included. I know that they asked her about it while they were talking to her about Yellowstone, and I can't remember exactly what she said. TParker, do you recall what she said about it?
I don't remember, but it's between you'll see, maybe not. So she didn't confirm, deny anything.
Okay. I mean, if we see her, it'll probably be brief, just to have her in the season and maybe in future seasons of Resurrection, because I do think Resurrection will last at least 5 seasons. Hopefully Deb and Hannah come back to have more predominant roles. If Hannah doesn't come back at some point, I'm going to be pissed. I just felt like it's a stupid cop-out to have a character like her die off camera. This is not a Dexter stream, though, so I'll stop talking to her. My hard-on for Hannah apparently just precedes everything.
We can rant about Hannah's off-screen death when time comes, because I'm the same with you.
Yeah, sorry, I can't stop. I have to mention that every time. So let's talk about Scream 3, one of TParker's favorites.
One of my favorites. Underrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to go first with this one, or do you want me to go first with it?
I can go first.
Okay, take it away.
All right. So with Scream 3, at the time when I first saw it back in 2011, it was my least favorite, but still a good ending to the franchise. So my only complaints about that film now is just no gore in that film. Oh, Jada. I think it's gone.
Oh. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, my only complaints about Scream 3 is just the lack of gore, and also it's actually just the lack of gore, to be honest. It's just nitpicks for anything else, but just my main problem with that film.
So my history with Scream 3, obviously being a Scream 2 fanatic, I was really excited for it. I remember I went to see it at a the time, back here where I live in Madison, Wisconsin, the big theater that we'd see midnight movies was at the downtown college area, University Square 4 midnight showings. And I remember I had a group of friends that aren't necessarily the most organized people. And I'm like, I have a dead set that I'm going to see this movie. And I remember that day I worked at Blockbuster Video from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm like, I don't care what happens. I'm going to University Square 4 to see Scream 3. And when I saw Scream 3 and that we got there an hour early, thankfully, although they were complaining, but this was the time we couldn't reserve seats and buy tickets ahead of time. So I want to make sure I had my Scream 3 ticket. I did love it when I saw it initially, but every time I watch Scream 3, I have complaints. And I think it's the characters. Obviously, Gail's hair, her bangs are annoying. Dewey is back to being a complete idiot for the most part of the movie. We don't get a lot of Sydney, although I'm hearing that she had just as much screen time. But did
She
I
has
say
the most screen
screaming?
time
Oh, she
of
did have the
the
most screen time.
characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it because she was only on set for 19 days or something like that because her commitments to drowning Mona.
Around
Um,
2 or 3 weeks, I think.
the other characters in the film, aside from Jennifer Jolie, I thought were ridiculous. And even though I'm a big Jenny McCarthy fan, as my right nostril is itching like crazy right now, uh, they just didn't seem really good compared to the other characters that we've seen in Scream. Sarah Darling, Tyson, what's the other? Tom, and who's the Sydney wannabe? I'm forgetting her name. The
Angelina.
Angelina Tyler. I thought they were garbage. Tyson was funny, but some of the stuff he says is really like cringe in my opinion. Like the killer is chasing him in the place, and he's like, "Help! Please help!" Like, what? Why are you saying that? Is that just for comedy purposes that you're saying that? I did like when he's all of a sudden goes say shows up. He's like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" So there's some good parts with Tyson, but ultimately his character, like I had some issues with how what he said when he said it. Did not like Angelina Tyler at all. The other killer that apparently got cut. Um, and
The
then
way
we
they filmed
have
it, the
yeah.
way they filmed it, she was the other killer.
There's definitely another killer in Scream 3. Hopefully, we'll find out who that is someday. Whether or not it's Angelina Tyler, did not like her character. It was good to see Lance Henriksen in Scream, although I didn't really like him at that time. But now being now a new fan of the Alien franchise, appreciated what we got of him in there. Um, Roman Bridger, that fooled me because they killed him off, and then he showed back up. So that tricked me that, he was in the coffin. I don't know if that was a dummy or it was really him in there.
That
And then they
that was
fooled me with
him.
that.
It's just
So,
Gail. She checked for first pulse, but like Gail is not a certified nurse.
no, definitely not. So, I did like it, though. I guess I haven't talked about my favorite part in Scream 3. I mean, the final act with Sydney and Roman was pretty good. But I also like the opening with Cotton Weary and Christine, played by Kelly Rutherford, formerly of Melrose Place. I'm a big Melrose Place fan, by the way, back in the day at least. So I like that. I thought it was unique that they had like other people. Like right away, I'm like, hey, that's somebody else's voice. That's other people's voice. So that was a unique thing that they hadn't done yet. I thought that was really good. But just some of the other characters in the movie, they they were stepped up in other movies, and then this one they didn't seem that good. Aside from Jennifer Jolie, who did great, I think she was the star of the movie for sure. I think she's the best part of the movie. And then, of course, our red herring throughout the whole movie, Mark Kincaid. You think he's the killer the whole time, and then he ends up not being the killer. Or maybe he will be. You never know. So that's my history with Scream 3, seeing it in the theater. I'm going to go away for just a second, but I'll still be on audio. When I worked at Blockbuster, there was one day we got a box. So we always got like posters and stuff and like screeners like months in advance. And we got a poster for Scream 3 like 3 months in advance before it came out on VHS. And then we also got the screener for it. So right away I grabbed that screener and I'm like, nobody's getting this screener. I'm taking it home with me. I'm watching it. I watched it like 5 times that weekend. I took it over to somebody else's house and they're like, how do you have this already? I'm like, they sent us a screener at Blockbuster and it had my name written all over it. So just a fun little story about that. But ultimately, At the moment, Scream 3 is probably the worst Scream movie. I say that, but there's another movie that sometimes I'm not sure if I really like that much. But initially, early on, we only had 3 Scream movies. I did like Scream 3 quite a bit, but it obviously lacks some things, and Kevin Williamson not having anything to do with it in the end. So I think that hurt the film. So let's talk about, well, let's catch up on the chat actually before that, and then we'll talk about Scream 4. Bear with me here. Just need to catch up where I left off here.
I would say Scream 3. Oh, let's go that first.
Yeah, I haven't heard any news about Deb, so I assume she's not. I think I already read that one. Scream 3 is a bit too silly for me. I would agree with that statement, actually. I enjoy Scream 3, but would love to have seen the original plan for it to have a cult of ghost faces ran by Stu. That would be amazing. Of course, Columbine kind of screwed that part up. The house explosion scene was absurd. Yeah, and that character that played Dewey, Tom, was terrible in my opinion. He was dumb, stupid, and had no point to be in the movie. I'm glad they killed him off right away. The single killer reveal was unique, but I didn't care for the reveal too much. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, a brother that Sydney didn't know about, it's kind of a cop out, but still it worked. Maureen got around. That was already told to us in the original Scream. So it worked in my opinion. It was interesting. I mean, I've seen things done worse. So, but I mean, I feel like there should have been another killer, and they should eventually tell us that yeah, there was another killer. We didn't meet them yet. It's Stu's sister, Leslie Mocker, or something like that. I'm sure that'll be introduced in Scream number 7. So now we have Scream 4. We went a long time without a Scream movie, and then we got Scream 4. Me personally, going into Scream 4, this was the one I was least excited about because we didn't have one for such a long time. So I wasn't really like amped up about Scream 4. Even though I posted on Facebook like every month, Scream 4 comes out on April 15th, 2011. I wasn't as amped up as I was about Scream 2. Well, Scream 3, I guess, because Scream 2, I wasn't super amped up until I saw the movie. Then I absolutely loved it. But I like Scream 4 a lot, actually, surprisingly enough. Just over time, my opinion on it has changed. At one point, it was in my top 50 favorite movies of all time. So I did like Scream 4 a lot, but I just noticed a lot of things that annoy me. I think it's super predictable with Jill Roberts being one of the killers. And then I had it narrowed down to either Robbie or Charlie as the other killer, which I ended up being right. I just didn't know which one was which. Oh, yeah, Brad's canceled. He just said Scream 4 is the best sequel. So,
Brad's almost right. I would say it's the second best sequel.
I think that would be Scream 6. But I ended up going to this movie with a bunch of people. Like everybody that I said I was going to go to Scream 4, and they all like invited themselves. So I like had like 8 people with me going to see Scream 4. And I remember one of my female friends ended up falling asleep during it, and my friend was throwing pretzel bites at her, which was kind of funny. But I liked it. I thought it was predictable, but I kind of, if you think about them long enough, and if you've seen enough, who done it movies and TV shows, you kind of most of the time you're gonna guess who did it. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was pretty brutal. Some of the kills in it, I thought Sydney did good. Dewey and Gale were kind of pointless in that movie. Like I didn't think they really showed them enough in it. It was more focused on Jill. Kirby was absolutely amazing, at least in Scream 4. Loved Kirby's character, and I feel like they should not have even gave us a fake out death for her. She should have not even got hurt in that movie. That way we knew for sure she was still alive and would come back for a future Scream film. So, TParker, let's talk about Scream 4 on your side of things.
Okay, so regarding Scream 4, I would say it's by far the most shocking killer reveal we have in the franchise. Maybe on par with the original for some people, but like for me, it's by far the best one. Gail, I thought Gail carried the first 2 acts in the movie. She was the best character until she got stabbed, had to go to the hospital, and of course, Sydney and Jill carried the 3rd act of the movie. Dewey was good in the movie, but not the best Dewey we got. Maybe the second worst Dewey we got in the franchise. Sydney, from what I heard from other people, people say that Nev didn't really try in this movie, which I fully disagree with. She gave rather a very nuanced performance where you can tell that she's not no longer scared about Ghostface, but she's scared for other people. So I thought Nev did a good job portraying that. And the commentary about remakes, reboots, social media before social media pretty much controls our lives was brilliant. So this movie just I went from being it's okay to now it's amazing. I love this movie so much. It's almost perfect for me, almost perfect.
I can actually agree with that. I guess I didn't mention a lot of things that you just touched upon. The third act with Jill just beating the crap out of herself to make it look like that she was the victim was awesome. Just predictable that she was one of the killers. I don't know if you knew that going in, like if you predicted that Jill was the killer or not. But I pegged it right away, and then it was either Charlie or Robbie for me. Yes, I guess Gail was important early on, and then she just kind of took a back seat when she got stabbed or whatever. I can't remember where she got hurt.
She got
And it
in the
was
shoulder.
yeah. So that was the reason why I thought Gail is pointless, at least at points in the movie. But yeah, it's good. At one point, it was in my top 50 of all time, and then just over time, I've been a little bit less, appealing of it, liking it as much, but it's
What's the
still
last
good.
time you saw it? Screen 4.
Um, when Scream 6 came out, because I rewatched them all. I think I do want to watch all the Scream movies again. Okay, let's say I don't have to watch Scream 2 at this right now. At least
You should.
I've had
Why not?
thoughts of watching Scream 5 and Scream 4 in the last couple of weeks. I just haven't got time to do it yet. But I do want to watch them all just to kind of refresh my memory on them. But I'll have to watch them again eventually by the time Scream 7 comes out. Now, when that comes out, we don't know. We'll talk about that once we get to that. But now we have Scream 5. Now, I didn't think Scream 5 was going to be something that was going to happen because Scream 4 did terrible at the box office. What did it make, like $30 million?
Domestically, yeah, around that.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like they didn't come anywhere close to any of the numbers they got previously. Like Scream 3 did 90 million and this one just did terrible. I don't know if it was the marketing behind it, but it was absolutely ridiculous. And then I hear during the pandemic that there's a new Scream movie coming out and all these people are casted. Dev Campbell's coming back, David Arquette's coming back, Courtney Cox is coming back. And Scream 5, to me personally, after seeing it the first time in the theater, that was the one that I liked the least on the first watch. I was like, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it. I was kind of like, yeah, it was okay. And then I watched it again the very next day, and I liked it more the second time around. I liked the new cast of characters they would get introduced to, especially Mindy in that one. Chad was okay, but he didn't get a lot of time in that one. Um, of course, Sam and Tara, with Tara being way better than Sam in the fifth one, at least. Sam was just terrible in the fifth one, in my opinion. Although maybe if I rewatch it, maybe I'll actually be, I was just not seeing it right, and she actually did a good job. But I think for the general consensus with the fan base is that Scream 6, Sam was absolutely terrible. I don't know if that was because everybody loved Nev, but I watching it the first time, I just wasn't super into it, but I liked it. Another movie where actually, technically, the killers were revealed to me during a Scream trailer breakdown from Craven Something Scary, which I had to unsubscribe to his channel because I don't want to get spoiled with any Scream news. Love Steven at his content, but I don't want Scream stuff spoiled. He didn't do it intentionally. He just broke down the trailer so much and like freeze frame things of what shirts people are wearing during what scenes, and it was obvious that Jack Quaid's character was the killer, and Mikey Madison was the killer because she was the one on fire. But still, it's still a good movie compared to other movies where other franchises' worst movies. I mean, Scream 5 is amazing compared to some franchises like Best Efforts. So liked it. It's toward the bottom of my ranking. I believe I have it fourth right now, but my opinion could potentially change quite a bit once I rewatch these all again, which will happen soon. Just depends on when Scream 7 comes out. So let's hear what T. Parker has to say about Scream 5 or 5 Cream or Scream
Five
2022,
Cream,
whatever you want to call it.
Five Cream, Scream 5. So for me, Scream 5 was actually my first Scream movie I saw in theaters. And like you said, they did spoil the killers in the trailer, especially and also Tara's face when you see her in the wheelchair in the hospital for a few seconds. So I knew she didn't die at the opening. But at the time, I loved Scream 5. I thought it was the third best in the franchise. I love the characters. I thought Melissa's acting in 5 was okay, but not the worst, not the best, but just okay. But I like Sam as a character. I thought she was interesting. Tara, Jenna, she stole the show of the newbies for sure.
I agree. Absolutely.
Chad, I like Chad. Mindy, I like Mindy in 5 as well. I thought there were two okay characters in the fifth one. I thought Chad was gonna die, and he did for a few minutes until he comes back at the end. Um, I thought Scream 5, which you will disagree with me, Jada, but I thought Scream 5 Dewey is by far the best Dewey we got. I just love his arc in that film. How
I
he
agree
went
that's a
from
strong performance. I just don't think we got enough time to say it's his best, part of the movie or his best role in the Scream franchise. But it's definitely better than 4 and
yeah.
3. But I liked him a lot in Scream 2. But upon my rewatch, maybe I'm like, Dewey, for how long he was in the movie and what he did and the emotion that we saw of it, he was a pretty good performance. Sorry to cut you off there. I apologize for
Oh,
that.
no, no, you're
Keep
good.
going.
You're good. I would say in terms of ranking the trio, in terms of importance in that film, we Dewey, Gail, then Sydney. Sydney, I love her. She was great, but she didn't have to be in this movie. It
She
was
was
just a
just there for the
glorified
third act.
cameo. Yeah, they could have done better with her screen time in that movie. What more she could offer. So I loved this movie at the time. It was like a high 9 out of 10. And I still do love Scream 5. It's just 3 years later, it tend to, I'm not gonna say age is like no, because it doesn't, but I see more flaws now than it did originally, especially with the some of the dialogue, the cinematography was like too tight, not a lot of light screens or sapling shots. Um, just the overall, I get that they're trying to make a requel, Halloween 2018 with nostalgia, Easter eggs, which was good. But also, I prefer when films try to be their own, have their own identity. And of course, 5 is mostly about the original. Of course, with the boyfriend being the killer again, the motive was different and good. But for me, Scream 5, it's my second least favorite of the franchise, but still a good film. Like it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I feel like with Scream 5, it reminded me too much of the original for the most part. I did like our Easter egg, though, in the movie. That was awesome. You know what I'm talking about?
Kirby's
Yeah, Woods
Kirby's
World
wife,
Survivor Kirby Reed. I love that. When I saw that, I was like, yes, she's alive.
and
Although,
also at the very bottom, Stu maybe alive.
yeah, that too. But I was more concerned about Kirby because that's what all the fans wanted Kirby back. But unfortunately, in my opinion, we didn't necessarily get the best Kirby in Scream 6. Just my
Mhm.
opinion. She might have been the weakest part of Scream 6. But let's catch up on the chat because I didn't do that for the last one. Um, let's see. So Brad made his comment about Scream 4 being the best sequel. So that means that Brad is canceled. Yeah, you'll be uncanceled though. They only last for like 5 minutes. Um, probably view it more highly since it got me back into the franchise a few years ago. Big Hayden Panettiere fan. Was cool to see the kid from Saw 2 as well. Oh yeah, Robbie, who was Daniel Matthews in Saw 2. What's his name in real life? I'm drawing a blank on it, unfortunately. But yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
he did
either.
good. I know it. Eric Knudsen,
Oh yeah,
something like I think that's what it is.
Eric, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just he was good. I didn't mind that. It's just a I don't know. People complain about how the movie looks, the graininess of it. That really doesn't affect me all that much. It's just like watching it. I felt like they really wanted to set Dewey, Gale, and Sydney aside and really focus on the new cast, and that was their goal. And it just didn't work for me. But I'm going to rewatch it again. Maybe I'll have a different opinion. I like to watch them in different orders, and I think I'll start with Scream 4, and then I'll work my way up to Scream 5, and then probably Scream 3, and then watch 6, 1, and then 2. Probably is what I'll do. We'll see. The opening fake outs and ending hospital probably get the most criticism, but I don't mind them. Not bad. I don't mind the opening scene with all the people are in it, especially with Anna Paquin and Kristen Bell, because I like both of them. Anna
For
Paquin being
me,
from X-Men and Kristen Bell from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. True Blood, of course, also for Anna
yeah,
Paquin, Sookie Snackhouse. I like that scene. I actually enjoyed that. I got a laugh out of it. Some people hated it, but I didn't mind it that much. T. Parker, what about you?
I love the opening Scream
Okay.
4. For me, I love Lucy Hale, who was one of the girls in Stab Six. I thought the openings gets worse and worse. That the two fake outs were better than the actual opening, but
Okay.
it's still a great opening. I thought it had me the first time.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was the real opening just because they usually kill off a bigger name in the opening scene. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't know Anna Paquin there's going to be in this. I didn't know that Lucy Hale was going to be in it. I didn't know that Kristen Bell, who I love Kristen Bell, by the way,
Hmm.
didn't know she was going to be in it. I can't remember all the people that are in it. I remember the scenes, Marty and the other chick.
Jenny.
Yeah, I can't remember their names though, which is bad that I'm forgetting the Scream person's name. Actually, going back, well, I guess we're going to start talking about now. In Scream 5, Mikey Madison is Amber, right?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
what's the other chick's name that was Chad's girlfriend? I can't remember her name for the life of me.
Liv.
Liv, okay. You
Yeah.
knew it and I didn't. That's bad. I'll blame it to my cognitive decline. How about that?
I just think about Stu's quote, "Leave her alone."
Oh, very good. Very good. Scream 5 was an all around good movie. Nothing really stands out as an overly bad or overly good. I would agree with that, actually. It just, yeah, it's kind of like mm, it should be more memorable because they killed Dewey in it, but it doesn't have the same effect because I not necessarily like Dewey as much. In certain movies, I like him, but like overall, it's time for Dewey to die. You've had Gale, Sidney, and Dewey in all these movies. It's time for him to die.
I forgot to mention, I love Judy's and Westkill sequence in the film.
That was actually really well done. They kept faking
Yeah.
us out with the doors opening and nothing's there with Wes's kill, and then they have the for Wes party, which was
Hmm.
Wes Craven. That was awesome. I like that a lot. I was
Yeah.
hoping he'd be around a lot longer. Dylan,
Same.
what's his Dylan
Minette.
Minnette,
Yeah.
just because he was probably the biggest name out of all of them, aside from Nev, David, and Courtney. Uh, I saw him first in Lost. If you've ever, I don't know if you've ever seen Lost, T. Parker, but
I haven't seen it.
one of
No.
my favorite shows of all time. It's on Netflix if you want to watch like an action drama more drama sci-fi show. People complain about parts of it, but I absolutely love Lost. It's on the channel right now. I'm reviewing it, but a lot of episodes to watch with 24 episodes per season for some of the seasons. But and then I've also seen him in Prisoners. Have you ever seen Prisoners from 2013?
Mm-mm. But I've seen Dylan in Don't Breathe and 13 Reasons Why.
Okay. Okay. Is he is in Don't Breathe? That's right. I forgot he was in that. You should probably watch Prisoners. Not to recommend movies, but it's a really good movie with Hugh Jackman, Paul Dano, and
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Howard, along with Maria Bello and Viola Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Premise is these two couples, both their kids disappear, and Paul Dano, who's like an autistic, something's wrong with him. Like he's the only lead, and there's some crazy stuff that happens in the movie. It's a little slow at times. Jake Gyllenhaal's also in it too. I can't believe I
Oh,
forgot about him. He's
nice.
second bill, but it's pretty good. I think it's on Netflix. You might want to check it out. It's one of my favorite movies in 2013. That and Olympus Has Fallen that I really liked. Just a recommended movie.
Yeah, I'm
Them
down for
calling
that.
it Scream was just so annoying. Training out. That was just dumb. Call it Scream 5 for crying out loud. That was the
Oh, Fight
dumbest thing.
Cream. Let's call it
It
Fight Cream.
confused. They didn't want people that hadn't seen the other ones not to see it. That's why they just called it Scream. It's dumb. Completely dumb. Jenna surviving the opening was a bit different. I agree, and I thought it was good. Jenna really, T. Parker's not wrong. She stole the show in Scream 5. She was amazing. I think Melissa caught back up to her in Scream 6 to a degree, but she was really good in Scream 5, that's for sure. And I hope we see her again. Which
I
Jenna
thought,
Ortega has no issues right now with Spyglass. It's Melissa Barrera, so it's just her how in demand Jenna Ortega is right now. Like you've got to get her when she doesn't have as many things going on. So it remains to be seen if we see Tara in a Scream movie again, but I think we will. You're going to say something?
yeah, I was gonna say how I thought Sam and Tara switched places for me from 5 to 6, where I thought Sam was the staying out in 6, and then Tara was staying out in 5.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, not that Tara was bad in Scream 5 or Scream 6, but Sam just like got so much better. In my opinion, Dewey was more serious in 5 compared to the past, better depth to the character. I could agree with that. And Ken Sledge from Sledgehammer Harris says that all the time. When they had that scene with Dewey and Gail meeting back up for the first time in a while, that was Courtney and David meeting back up, and like that was a real conversation. I think not just in the movies. Now my eyes started to bother me, not a lot, but my left eye started to pester me a bit. Ryan says, honestly, Scream is one of the most sophisticated franchises when it comes to quality. Even the weaker films are good. You won't hear an argument from me. The worst movie in this franchise is the best movie in other franchises.
I agree.
I don't want anybody to be mad at me when I say this, but I've watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and although some of them it's been a while, but I tried to rewatch the first three a few years ago, and I know some of those films people absolutely love, and it's their favorite horror movie of all time. But I would put Scream 3 up against any of the Nightmare movies. I know it's a hot take, and I'll do it myself just in case you're a big Nightmare fan. Yeah, J. Dev is canceled for his Nightmare on Elm Street hate.
I have a question for you, J-Deb.
Sure.
How about compared to the Evil Dead franchise?
I think all the Scream movies are better than the first Evil Dead, and they're probably all better than Army of Darkness. And then it's debatable about Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead 2013. Evil Dead Rise, that is a good one. I would say Scream, Scream 2, and Scream 6 are better than Evil Dead, which T. Parker just canceled me. He got off camera for that one.
No, I'm still here. I just got
Okay.
plug in my charger.
Yeah, so I think definitely better. I know Evil Dead came out first one, Sam Raimi. I don't like the first Evil Dead movie. The third one, Army of Darkness. Well, I think there's good parts of Army of Darkness, and it's very underrated. I just think it's not as good as any of the Scream movies, personally. I finally watched Lost for the first time last year. Started strong, faded a bit. I disagree with that. The question is, do you know what actually happened and how things happened? Because most don't. Um, I do think there's too many episodes, but that's just me. I love Lost. That's top 5 for me of all time. When you're talking about my favorite TV shows of all time, if you didn't know already, now you will. Walking Dead is number 1 because I watched that show from its start. Well, not right away, but from season 2 on. Dexter being number 2. Lost, I think I'm going to put number 3 now. Breaking Bad number 4, and Game of Thrones number 5. Oh boy, Prisoners is one of my favorite movies. Prisoners is badass. You really should check out Prisoners. Make sure you write that one down. Well, I'll remind you. I think it's pretty dark. That's for
I
sure.
gotta put it on my box watch
Yeah,
list.
I think it's on Netflix. I'm not 100% sure though. It was at one point, but they randomly take things off and add it back.
Hmm.
Some of those older horror movies are hard to get through if you don't have nostalgia for them. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I tried to rewatch them a couple of years ago, and I don't like them. And I know it's Freddy Krueger. You're supposed to like Freddy, but I just didn't get the same enjoyment that I would watching the Scream franchise. Like I'd rather watch Scream or Saw movies, even the bad Saw movies, over even Nightmare. And rewatching all the Friday the 13th films, like honestly, even aside from the fourth one and the reboot one, they're not that great either. So me being a Jason fan growing up, that's what got me into horror. I don't like those that much either, to a degree. Some of them are good though. Screaming Evil Dead are both tip top. Evil Dead 2013 is the best sequel from that combo. It's the best Evil Dead movie, I will say. Not better than Scream or Scream 2. This may be a hot take, but Evil Dead 2013 is my favorite in the franchise. Well, I just said it was my favorite in the franchise. I love the reboot or whatever it is of Evil Dead. That was the first Evil Dead movie that I actually watched, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was so well done and so eerie at the same point. I hope they bring that character back. There was talk about it, but then that talk kind of faded. I hope they bring, is it Jane Levy or Jane Levy? I'm not exactly sure if it's Levy or Levy, but regardless, I hope they bring her back in a future Evil Dead iteration.
I can decide if I prefer Evil Dead 2 or 2013, so it's tied for first.
Brad says Walking Dead I finally watched as well. I think I paused around season 4 and haven't picked it back up. I mean, yeah, they kind of went on a long time with Walking Dead. It's the TV show that I got most interested in. Like, I got really into The Walking Dead for me personally. I think you missed out on some of the better seasons. Season 6 and season 5 are really good. It starts to fall off in season 7 and season 8. It picks back up in season 9. 10 is, for the most part, good, although it does have fallen off parts. 11 was probably the worst season in total because like a lot of the episodes didn't need to happen, but they wanted to stretch it to have 24 episodes in the final season. So I can't, like, a lot of people will say, isn't Dexter your favorite show of all time? I didn't watch Dexter until it was over with. Well, other than New Blood and Dexter Original Sin and soon to be Resurrection. So I can't put all the time that I invested into watching The Walking Dead every Sunday night while Dexter I didn't actually watch. So did I read that last couple? Yeah, I did. Okay. I like the idea of Jason Voorhees as an icon more than the actual movies. I would agree with that. What's your favorite Friday the 13th movie, J Dev? Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. Second favorite is Friday the 13th, the 2009 reboot, remake, reimagining, whatever you want to call it, of it. Third favorite, I can't remember what my ranking is now. I like New Blood more than most do. I'm not saying it's my third favorite, but I was a big fan of Lara Park Lincoln growing up. So Tina's character, I like that. Just like, how I like Hannah and Dexter, Lara Park Lincoln's Tina. I liked her a lot and like that movie more than most do. If that movie would have actually been able to show the stuff that it did, movie would be higher ranked than a lot of people's lists. Dexter is trying to replicate The Walking Dead for most of its spin-off possibilities. Yeah, I would agree with that. At least Dexter's still around, though, and that's all I care about. He's not. Spoiler alert: if Ryan hasn't seen Dexter or not, I don't know if he's a Dexter fan. I think he is. We don't have Dexter dead anymore, and that's the important thing. That he's still alive and he's resurrected, and hopefully Hannah McKay. There we go again with my Hannah talk. Will be resurrected as well. All right. I've been doing a lot of talking now. I apologize. Now it's time for Scream 6. I want to let TParker start this one off.
Okay, Scream 6, here we go. Scream 6 was my most anticipated film of 2023. So I walked in hoping to love it, hoping it would be in my top 3. And I was loving the movie up until the third act. But before we get there, let's talk about the positives. Definitely the cinematography. The cinematography is beautiful. Sam, Melissa did an amazing job as Sam in that film. Chad was the second best character in that film. Gail has by far the best scene in the entire film with her apartment attack scene. Kirby coming back. I love Hayden Panettiere. I love the subway scene until the freak out. And I love the Ghostface age mask. It's hot take. It might be my favorite mask of the franchise.
It's not a hot
And it's on? Okay, cool.
That's me.
And and yeah, those are the positives. Okay. Also the shrine. I love the shrine scene too. I give it that.
That is awesome. I love the shrine. I was going to cancel you if you didn't mention the shrine, actually. Glad you did. You finally should put it in there at the
I
end.
mean, I have my complaints about the shrine scene, how
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the evidence collected and no one cares. But anyway, now the negatives. The big one. The killer reveals. Not only was it predictable, badly acted, but a ripoff from Scream 2 done worse. No one died in this movie but extras. People can get stabbed 20 times, but still walk, have a conversation, and laugh. Bailey charging at Sam with his loaded gun gets me out of the film every time, every time. The way they treated Gail in this movie, where she was just an Act 2 character, and they regress her to cyanide her, and we get to see her alive at the end. Yes, she is alive, but from some random character that mentioned that she's alive. First time I left a Scream film feeling disappointed. I have more complaints, but all right.
You
I would
know,
say this movie is the best way to describe Scream 6 is it's the MCU Scream. It's the official stab film. It's the inferior Scream 2.
okay. And TParker brings up a lot of points that are 100% accurate. Like, there are major flaws with the movie, but for some reason, I don't care. I just love Scream 6. Um, I mean, I felt like, well, okay, let me talk about the negatives first. Kirby, love the fact that she came back, but like she just didn't fit in Scream 6, in my opinion. Um, I don't know how long she had time to prepare for the role, but I just didn't like Kirby in this movie. How she's an FBI agent all of a sudden. Like, there is no talk of her being an FBI agent or going to school for FBI stuff in Scream 4, which I know that was a long time ago compared to Scream 6, but come on, let's have some sort of continuity here. Mindy was enjoyable in Scream 5, but in Scream 6, she was a little insufferable, in my opinion. I think she's trying too hard to be Randy, so it doesn't work. Gail, she's not really a negative, but they didn't use Gail in this movie. She was kind of just there. Hey, we brought Courtney Cox back. We know we didn't bring Nev Campbell back, but we got Courtney Cox, and they don't use her properly. She should have been more of a focal point in the movie, rather than just kind of a side character that you think is killed off. Yes, TParker's right. All the fake out deaths, like Chad getting stabbed 122 times. Okay, he didn't say stabbed that much, but way too many times for him to survive. Hey, I'm happy Chad lived, because Chad was fucking awesome in Scream 6, but God forbid he got stabbed so many times. So did Tara, so did Sam, but not as much as Chad. So, too many fake out deaths. My anticipation for Scream 6 was not super high because we just got in another one, a year beforehand. So I wasn't like super thrilled about it. But, me going into the theater, watching the movie, predicting that Bailey was the killer, predicting that Ethan was the killer, but not knowing that Quinn was the killer because Quinn was killed off. Well, at least we thought she was killed off. So I didn't predict the killer, all of them. Uh, the Ghostface Shrine I thought was absolutely amazing, and some of the stuff they talk about and all the callbacks to Scream moments in that shrine were awesome. Although the third act, which is TParker's biggest problem with the movie and many people's biggest problem with the movie, Sam Carpenter and Scream 6, man, she delivered maybe one of the best performances in the Scream franchise, actually. Possibly. I'm not saying that for sure or not, but I thought she did a lot better compared to how she did in Scream 5. Tara was good, but it seemed like Tara was kind of sidelined in this movie to a degree. I already talked about how awesome Chad was. I'm glad that Chad is the new Dewey. They did. Chad should never die. I repeat, anybody watching this film that has this stream that's involved with Scream 7 or any future Scream movies, Chad needs to survive. He's the new Dewey, and we need to keep Chad around for eternity until he dies of old age. He's been stabbed too many times, so obviously he can't be killed by being stabbed. So unless you shoot him, I don't want to see Chad die because I really, really like Chad. I thought he was kind of pointless in the previous movie, but in this one, he did really good, and I like how they they made him even more important because they started having him and Tara kind of involved, which I didn't necessarily see coming. So that was also something good about it. Bailey, yeah, he's cringe. So predictable. Dermot Mulroney was one of the killers. I don't know why they would make it that predictable. No Sydney Prescott. That's unfortunate. Nev Campbell, because she wasn't paid enough for her role. Like, I haven't looked up how much Nev Campbell made. I don't know if it's actually public knowledge how much she made for the other movies. I think it is, though. They must have sent her a really low ball offer for her to be offended, but she was always willing to come back. She just wanted a certain amount of money, and she held on and held on. And I thought they would actually work something out in the end, but they never ended up doing it.
Have
What else
you
can I tell you?
seen the original plan for Sydney in the film?
I want to say I heard about it, but if I did, I don't remember what it was now.
Pretty much her being in the movie wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah,
It'd been the
they
same movie.
okay. Yeah, I want to say I heard that. I just don't. I think you maybe told me that already before. So I mean, I didn't miss Nev Campbell though, and that's the weird thing. Like it sucked that Sydney wasn't going to be in it, but at least Sydney got to go, and she's going to have fun with Mark Evans. At least we thought. Well, we thought it was Kincaid. So it did. Sydney not being in the movie, I was not unhappy with it all when I was watching it. I love the shrine, the third act. I know there's a lot of flaws, but for some reason, I really like the third act of the movie, which I know there's a lot of people's complaints about it, but for some reason, I just kind of put the blinders on and just sat back and enjoyed all the chaos of the movie. And then I'll say this, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, TParker. When the movie was done, I was like, is this the best Scream movie that I've ever watched? I had that thought for a second. I really enjoyed my experience with Scream 6. I've seen it, I want to say 6 or 7 other times. Now, I don't like it as much as the Scream 1 and Scream 2 now, but I just, for some reason, it's just a movie that I really like. I guess I could copy Ashley Sledge when she says she has fun with Halloween Resurrection. I have fun with Scream 6. And it's,
Big difference in quality with those two films. Give me Scream 6 any day.
yeah. So, yeah, I know it's not a popular opinion. I know most of the Scream fan base doesn't like the sixth one.
I'd
I'm
say it's
just
divided.
yeah, I'm just a guy that liked it. I know there are flaws. I know there's problems with Bailey running it. I know there's many flaws. Easy killer review, at least for 2 of them. I didn't get it spoiled like Ken did. Ken got it spoiled, a screenshot of all 3 killers before he saw it, so that ruined his experience for the movie. But like the intensity of the movie, some of the scene with the ladder on the apartment thing was just awesome. I think the tension was really good. Where I felt like Scream 5, other than Dewey's death, there wasn't a lot of tension. And then in the final act, I didn't really care about Sam. So if Richie would have killed Sam, okay, fine. She sucks anyway. So my opinion in Scream 5. So I
I
wasn't
guess
really worried about any of the characters. Where Scream 6, I got really invested in. Yeah, that's my rambling thoughts on Scream 6. So yeah, I know
for
I'm canceled.
me, with Scream 6, I care about good writing, and you had to admit Scream 6 doesn't have the best writing.
Okay.
And I feel like when they wrote the script, they focused on set pieces first, and then they wrote everything else after. Because to me, set pieces the movie. Things just happen. There's no like build up. It just happened.
You know, you probably have a point there. The writing, it was off. Kevin Williamson was an executive producer for 6, right?
He was also for 5 too, but
Okay.
you can tell that he didn't have any much say in the
Okay.
script. He just for
It was
credit, I guess.
all what Radio Silence, Matt and Tyler wanted to do in the movie. Yeah, I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm a fan of Scream 6 and really liked it, and it made me really excited for the next prospect of a Scream movie. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Maybe my opinion on Scream 6 will change one day. I'm like, you know what, TParker, you're right. I finally got mad about watching it, but I really do like it. I'm not just saying that. So all right, we're gonna catch up on the chat, and then we'll talk about Scream 7. All right. I heard the creators found Scream 5 to be too dark, and that's why they didn't kill as much in 6. Chad getting stabbed a billion times and then being alive was wild. Yeah, they just want to copy the best movie in the franchise, Scream 2.
Hmm.
We got a live one! Dewey, Chad! So,
I
yeah,
rolled my eyes so hard when I heard that.
I
So
was
hard.
happy, though, because Chad was alive
I was
again.
mad. That could have been the
So,
best death in the whole movie.
yeah, it's possible. But I don't think they should kill Chad off unless they bring in their strong male that we really like to go with Sam or Sydney, whoever survives. Just
Honestly, after
really,
that, don't kill
I
Chad
just,
off. You can't top that.
yeah, I just really have taken a liking to Mason Gooding. Like I watched him in Y2K. He was one of the best parts. Or that's what that was. It's called Y2K, right? With
Yeah.
okay, I wanted to make sure that was what it's called. And then I saw him
All
in
right.
uh, in Hard Eyes. Yes, just really liking that actor. Like I feel like he should be a bigger name in Hollywood. He takes
Hmm.
on a lot of different roles, and he's really good. He has a lot of good charisma. Kirby was definitely forced in nostalgia. Forced in nostalgia. Yeah, she just it didn't work for me, and I'm a huge fan of Kirby in Scream 4. Like she was, you're talking about the top Scream characters of all time list, and she's high up there. I don't remember what it was when I did it, but I don't know if that was a video or I did it on a stream with Nick at the Lost River Drive-In. But I had Kirby very highly ranked. I think she might have been number 1 or number 2. But then Scream Six's performances, when I do that list again, she's going to go down a couple spots at least. What about you, TParker? Do you feel like she was forced in nostalgia?
I'm not gonna say force, but could have been handled better, but also could have been handled worse. So she's like in the middle for me in this film, but drop compared to 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's her performance in 4 was pretty freaking good, so
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me. For Scream 7, do you expect for the first time they could have Ghostface be a returning character? I mean, at some point they're going to do it with all the Ghostface they have. I'm probably going to be Stu. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Which
Oh, Joe.
we can finally talk about Scream 7 now. It felt obvious to me that the daughter and the dad were killers. Rule number
Hmm.
one: if there's no body, I should have pointed that out in my head, but for some reason, I just quickly overlooked it and knew that Ethan was the killer, knew that Bailey was the killer, and then didn't think there was going to be any more killers. I didn't think they'd actually go the route of 3 killers. I forgot to mention about Scream 6 that the opening with Tony Revolori and Samara Weaving, I love that, by the way, too. I thought that was great.
I say the Scream 6 opening could have been so much better if one, Samara Weaving's character had Jason, and two, Jason survived the opening.
Yeah, that would have been good. They probably should have had him survive, but they didn't. They definitely wanted set pieces like the ladder scene or the historical memorabilia. That yeah, I love that memorabilia. I'm heading to bed, Jed Dev. I really appreciate the stream. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Hope to see more of these in the future. I mean, yeah, if at least for the next 30 days, because I paid for StreamYard for 30 days, so I'll try to stream more. It's just a matter of like, it's just long and time consuming, and then my brain starts to malfunction. Which right now I'm good. My eye was bothering me for a second there, but I keep going off camera to wipe my eye and treat it with whatever it needs to be treated with. So hopefully that's not a problem. But yeah, I'll try to focus on doing one stream a month at least, especially when Dexter comes around. Maybe it'll be a weekly stream with that. We'll see. But I appreciate you making the recommendation. Since you asked for it, I delivered. So anytime somebody asks me to do something, I usually fit it into my schedule. So appreciate the recommendation, Ryan. I hope you have a good night. And I don't know how much longer we'll go, but if you want to watch the rest of the stream, I appreciate you for being in here and paying attention to it, especially why Willis Creedy is streaming as well. All right. So right now, I guess it's just a kind of an open discussion about Scream 7. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff going on with Scream 7, the Melissa Barrera situation. She's out, allegedly. Uh, I still think there's hope for a cameo from Melissa Barrera. Like, gotcha! Uh, Maybe because I know she had meetings with Spyglass after all that stuff happened, and they had meetings. So maybe there was something resolved and, everything was good. Who knows? Probably not the case, but I could easily see a gotcha moment, like, ha, you thought I was in it, gotcha, but probably not going to happen. But I I hope it does because that would be awesome because then we get Sam again for sure at some point. Um, but yeah, I think Melissa's going to come back. Going back to a comment before, I think it was Brad. Chad does not need to die, and Mindy, you can kill Mindy up. I mean, how many times are these characters going to be hurt and rushed to the hospital at the end of the movie? Like, eventually, one of them is going to die, and I think it's going to be Mindy. I think Mindy will probably be a goner in this movie, although I do like Mindy in the fifth one quite a bit, and I like that actress who is in Yellow Jackets. TParker, have you seen Yellow Jackets at all?
No,
Okay, it's kind of like Lost to a degree, but
I heard about that.
she's in Yellow Jackets so far. She's in all 3 seasons thus far. She's in. They have like it's a time thing where they do things that happened in the '90s and then they go back to current time, and she's one of the younger characters in the show. It's pretty good. They're about done with season 3 thus far.
Is it like renewed for another season, or is it the end?
I don't think it's officially been renewed for another season yet, but it will be. They'll definitely go
Okay.
at least one more season, if not 2. I think no more than 5 though. They're on season 3 right now. They won't do any more than 5. But if they do, it's really going to be, make it oversaturated, in my opinion.
I might watch it since I have Paramount Plus, so why not?
It's good. I don't think season 2 is as good. That's me saying that and not paying attention to it as much as I probably should have been. So maybe it is good. I did like this first season a lot. It does have Ella Purnell in it, and I'm a big fan of Ella Purnell, who's in Fallout and the Army of the Dead movie with Dave Bautista. She was in. Did you ever watch Sweet Pea?
No.
Sweet Pea is like a more sloppy version of Dexter with a female killer. It takes place in UK. I don't remember exactly, London or something like that, where she like decides all this shit's going on and she freaks out and starts killing people. It's actually quite entertaining. It had 6 episodes in the first season. It has been renewed for season 2. I just like Ella Purnell, so maybe that's
Okay.
a little biased that I liking that just because Ella Purnell's in it. But
What service is on it? Stream service.
it's on Sweet Pea's on Stars, which I know that's not a common
Oh,
streaming service, but you can get it off of Amazon or YouTube. You can get a free trial too, so keep that in mind. You can do free trials for each service. That's what I do, at least to start out. Like I'll try to milk it for those free trials on Amazon, then YouTube Premium, and then I'll go, okay, I'll pay for a month's worth of it to try to get out of the way.
okay.
Brad says TParker is pretty much like Lord of the Flies.
Mm.
And he says, girls soccer team gets abandoned in the wilderness. Yeah, that's the how they get stranded in the wilderness, which is kind of like Lost, where their plane crashes on an island. So, obviously, going into Scream 7, though, my expectations are we've had 2 Scream movies come out, so like I've got my fix of Scream for the time being, and then the whole the Nev Campbell stuff happened with Scream 6, and the Melissa Barrera stuff with Scream 7. So I wasn't super excited about the movie. And then all the people, oh wait, Jenna Ortega can't do it. She didn't say she wasn't going to do it. She just can't. I believe, unless they offered her a role that wasn't appeasing to her enough. So, but then of course we fought. Everybody they changed directors a few times. Christopher Langdon was involved with it at one point. Then he dropped out, and then there was like silence due to the writer's strike for a while. And then we got the announcement that Kevin Williamson is returning to the franchise as the director, which that's a little surprising considering I think he's only directed one movie, Teaching Mrs. Tingle. What are your thoughts on Kevin Williamson returning? I'm sure that's positive for sure.
Well, you know how I feel about Kevin.
Yeah.
He is the creator of this franchise, for one. And two, the movies he wrote, Scream, Scream 2, and Scream 4, are the best Scream films. So him coming back as director, and let's be honest, he's going to have some say in the script, whether he's co-writing or he has a ghostwriter credits. He's not going to direct a lousy script. So quality-wise, I feel like Scream 7 will be up there for me.
Yeah, I think like initially I didn't care and I wasn't super excited about it, but the more I'm hearing about it and the more people that get signed on to it, I mean, this could have the makings of the best Scream movie. It's not, but it could for some people. Depending on what route they'll go, I just want it to make sense. I don't want them to throw something together and be like, here's what you get, where it's not, when you watch it, it's not really that enjoyable. So I don't know how much say he'll have in things personally because I think it's either Matt or Tyler that's behind the writing of it.
No, it's
But
God music.
Guy Music, okay, that's it's Guy, Matt, and Tyler. I just forgot Guy. So I don't know how much input he will have on it. I'm sure he'll have some input, but I don't know. He might just be directing, and that might be a Nev Campbell thing. Like I'll come back if Kevin Williamson's directing, because that him directing the film to me seems kind of out of nowhere. Even though he was, he's the creator of the franchise. I like he hasn't directed a film before in it, and that's kind of like came out of nowhere to me. But I don't know. That might have been a Nev Campbell thing. Like I want Kevin Williamson to come back, and I want him to be director. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. Might
It
be
is a
wrong
Ned
on
Campbell
that.
thing. No, you're right, because Ned Campbell called Kevin to direct the movie.
So I think that's why he's back, and hopefully it's good. I hope it's good. And we've already kind of talked about at least my theory of we're going to see a scene with Billy, Roman, and Stu planning Maureen's murder, since Roman was around from the beginning, supposedly. Um, I don't know if we'll get, and then we might see like hallucinations of Billy and Stu and Roman for Sydney. Beyond that, though, as far as Stu goes, I don't know. I feel like they could pull a fast one on us and make us think he is really dead. And at the end, Stu walks by, or we hear a phone call, "Surprise, Sydney," or something like that. I told you
It
my
should be
mom and dad
that.
were going to be mad at me. So I don't know. I I
Being
feel
mad
like
enough to send him to an asylum for the past 30 years.
I don't know how they're going to explain if he is alive, what he's been doing. If they want to cover, maybe his family. The theory is his family's rich and they covered up his death, or they made him die, but he wasn't really dead and he's been hiding out or something like that. I don't know if that would necessarily weird, but or necessarily happen. But I'm for it because I want Stu back. I feel like Stu is an important part of the franchise, one of the best characters in the franchise, and his performance in Scream was remarkably amazing in my opinion. Him and like I said, him and Tatum back when we started the stream were the stars of Scream in my opinion, like the ones that stole the show versus all the other people that we had. So let's hear what you want to hear, or I should say, let's talk about what you want to see in Scream 7 and what you think is going to happen.
So for Scream 7, I want basically the same vibes we got from the original trilogy in terms of elaborate chase scenes, emotional stakes, actual stakes, some character development for both the old characters, new characters. I want some good commentary on the horror genre and commentary on just life currently. Um, so I want Cindy to be the forefront of this movie, like she was in the first three, four films. I want Gail to be redeemed after what happened to her in six. Give me Scream 2 or Scream 4 Gail again. And also I want to see Sydney's marriage life first before shit happens, before she gets the first phone call or the first attack. Let me see Sydney's life before Ghostface come back.
I don't know how long Mark will make it, to be honest with you.
I feel like Mark will either die at the very end or survive.
With it not being Patrick Dempsey, Joe McHale, who I've actually had never seen any work that he's done until the
Really?
most recent episode of the Yellow Jackets. He shows up in that.
Oh yeah. He
Not that I
was.
know of. Maybe he's in a role in a movie that I just didn't know he was the role, but
Have you
not.
seen um what's that movie called again? It was a Christmas horror film that came out 2 years ago. A Wonderful Knife.
Thanksgiving? No, that's a Thanksgiving week, though. What'd you say it was?
A Wonderful Knife.
I did not see that one.
He was in it.
Okay. Yeah, I believe I'm unfamiliar with him unless he's showed up in shows and I just didn't realize it was him. There's probably TV shows that he's in that I
His big
didn't.
show's Community.
Okay. Never watched any of it and don't know
It's
anything
very
about
good.
it. So I feel like he's not going to live long, but maybe he'll live to the end. But I don't think he makes it out of the film alive. But that would be very traumatizing for Sydney to lose her husband. So there's that. Um, I think that Gail there should be more of an explanation why she essentially exploited Dewey's death when she said she was going to do that again. and have that redeemed. Like, this is why this happened. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. Um, I don't know what role David Arquette plays because it's not like he'd be in a scene preparing a murder. They better not bring Dewey back alive. That would just be absolutely stupid. But there's theories that Dewey's alive now, which I don't know how that would be. Stu took care of him, and I said Stu because Stu's the one that killed Dewey, in my opinion. I don't think it was Amber's character, but
It was Amber.
I don't know that.
Amber
I
had
don't.
Dewey's gun at the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, but this is a movie, and things can be explained in different movies. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm guessing. He'll just have a hallucination scene with Sydney, or it'll be like a dream sequence with Gail. I just don't like bringing all these people back if they're only going to be in the movie for a minute or
Um,
two. Like I
hopefully,
want
like maybe Gail finally wrote the book about Dewey, and then we see old footage of Dewey on screen. Maybe they're making like a documentary about Dewey or something based on the book or limited series on Netflix.
that would that would probably be what they do too. I hope they bring Randy back for another scene, which I know we already had a videotape footage of him, but I want to see Randy again, which that hasn't been announced yet. But I think they would keep that as a surprise if Jamie Kennedy was coming back because he was in Scream 5 as a role as a background character,
Hmm.
which he's like, yeah, they told me not to say anything, so I kept my mouth shut. So did Skeet, so did Drew. Um, I want to see Randy back because he's iconic for the Scream franchise for his role in Scream 2, not so much Scream 1 in my opinion. Um, who's gonna die? Do you think any main characters will die?
Okay, so they had to kill people this time. So of the returning characters, I feel like Mindy's gonna die. And maybe, even though I don't want her to die, maybe Gail.
Initially, I thought that Gail would die. I don't think she's gonna die now, but that doesn't say she won't die.
I don't want her to die, but like it depends on the execution.
I felt like Gail should have died in Scream 5.
Mm-mm. She was there to redeem, to pretty much avenge Dewey's death.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have any inkling on who out of our new characters the killer will be? Which I'm not familiar with all of them, but there's always people that right away, oh, this person got casted, so they're the killer.
I do.
Who?
Anna Camp.
Anna Camp. Isn't that her daughter?
No, Anna Camp is
Oh,
supposed
that's
to
the
be
neighbor.
Sydney's neighbor friend,
Okay.
the blonde.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if I've heard that theory yet. Um, I could see it. I don't know much about Anna Camp. I don't know anything about her except that she's in Scream 7.
And True Blood.
Is she?
Yeah, she was the Kristen lady from season 2, the one that likes Jason.
Oh, it's been a while since I watched True Blood. I did rewatch the first 3 seasons, and I did reviews on the channel, and then I just kind of stopped. Which, for me to stop a review series, I just kind of lost interest in it. True Blood has its highs, but it also has its lows, and some of the seasons are absolutely pitiful. That final season of True Blood.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't find any of the seasons to be bad. Maybe weaker ones, but not nothing bad. Of True Blood.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we have a different opinion on that, but I thought the last season of True Blood was pretty bad as I just spilled water all over the place. And before I spilled Gatorade. So apparently I'm a klutz tonight. So bear with me here. But now my keyboard is soaking wet with water.
Oof. Turn it upside down.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It'll be fine. Water doesn't hurt anything.
It doesn't really. Unless
No.
you're in Final Destination.
Very true. I might have to do a Final Destination ranking when the new
Mm-hmm.
one comes out. Hopefully I'll have time to rewatch them all. Big fan of the first one. Big fan of the third one or the second one
Same.
until Ali Leiter's character is what
Died.
happened to her.
Yeah.
Then the third one I saw in the theater and
You
was
like
not a
it?
fan. No, I
I
didn't
love
like it
it.
at all. It
It's my
might be
second
something that I
favorite.
need to rewatch, and I haven't watched any of them since. So, I'm trying to think of if there's any other things that we can talk about in Scream 7 that haven't been talked about already that we're not just rehashing.
We can talk
Um,
about the possibility it could come out early, maybe.
Oh yes, thank you for bringing that up. See, I don't with streams. I don't keep bullet points. I just start rambling, and eventually I'll come back to something if I remember it. But yeah, I've shared this before, and now it looks more of a possibility than it was before. But I think Scream, if they can get everything done and everything good to go, I think Scream should come out when Saw 7 was going to come out, or Saw 7. What am I saying? Saw 11. Scream 7 should come out on the date that Saw 11 was going to come out, which I don't know if it's possible. It's a quick turnaround, but I mean, these films don't take that long to, post production, make a trailer for, edit everything, put different things in there. I think it's possible that it does come out in September, although it's kind of a rush. But I think they definitely need to change the release date because was it late February right now thus far?
Yeah, like late February. No,
Okay,
yeah, like February 27th. Yeah,
okay, yeah. I think it's definitely going to come out earlier, especially with the Dr. Seuss was a Cat in the Hat that's now on that date
Cat
as
in the
well.
Hat.
I watched Critical Overlord's video, and you did too. I think that's a bad matchup for Scream, and they want Scream to do very well at the box office. And I think that Saw 11 release date makes the most sense. Although that's a quick turnaround from they just got done filming, and who knows if they need to do any reshoots of it at all.
I
So that
mean,
might.
depending on reshoots, like you said, in terms of finished filming and releasing, it's pretty much the same amount of time with Scream 6, with filming and releasing, 7 months in between.
They allowed themselves a lot of time for Scream 5, and I know that was done really quick. Like they got that done really quick, even during COVID restrictions. So I don't think these movies take that long to,
Two
for
months.
post production. So I think by August we could get something, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. They're going to have to make an announcement soon about it before somebody else gets the bright idea to take that release date. But
Yeah,
I think
but
it's.
like, oh, you go first. You finish.
I was just going to say I think it's possible at least that it comes out earlier than what it's coming out at.
I mean, we get in I Know What You Did Last Summer in July, and that movie just finished filming last week.
Okay,
So they tend to edit while filming sometimes, so you never know with Scream 7.
that's true.
But
That's true.
I feel like most likely they will change the release date for 7, maybe earlier by a few weeks, or in January or 2026, or maybe later after Cat in the Hats will most likely happen. But visual thinking, I want to come out in late 2025.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we get that. It's a September release date, isn't it? I want to say late
Yeah, but
September.
like if they were to take on Saw 11's release dates, it would do good the first weekend, but the next weekend you have the
Michael
Michael
Jackson
Jackson
movie.
movie, which will dominate Scream 7.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that'd be a good idea to release Scream 7 that time.
Okay. That's a good point. I feel like, to be number one at the box office one weekend is better than not being number one, though. So if you keep
True.
that date that they have now versus the Dr. Seuss thing, I think it would do a lot better. But who knows what they're going to do? I feel like they have way too much time, though. So it's definitely, if they postpone it later because they don't want to go up against the Dr. Seuss thing, I'll be pissed. So hopefully they don't say, "Oh, we're going to come out in March 15th now because we don't want to go up against this Cat in the Hat thing."
I would say come out a few weeks earlier. That's it, not later.
Okay, I'm going to catch up on the chat here while we have a minute. We already read that soccer team thing. It's weird that we don't have him as writer. That what's his directing background? From what I remember, all that I know is Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which came out in 1999. So it's been a while, and I seen that movie when it first came out, and I don't remember it being bad. And I liked Katie Holmes, so I don't remember it being a bad movie. TParker, have you seen Teaching Mrs. Tingle?
I haven't seen it, but I heard there was a lot of studio interference with that film.
Okay, it
But I
is
gotta watch
just.
it.
Yeah, just to see his directing. I mean, obviously things could change with his directing style from 1999 versus 2024, 25 ish. Oh
You
no, it
can learn
started
a
filming this
lot.
year, so
You can learn a lot in 25 years.
it's crazy. Since Brad, I think, is the only person in the chat right now um, that our some of our favorite things, Dexter and Scream, were filming relatively at the same time. Started filming relatively at the same time. Just too much filming and casting information for me.
Casting information every
Overwhelming.
week.
Yeah, overwhelming information here. So, do we expect a Screen 8 soon after, or expect to take a break for the franchise? Um, based on what I know, which might not be 100% accurate, I think we're going to get another one soon. Will it come out in 2026? Probably not, but I think we're going to get another one in 2027. Early on in 2027 would be my prediction, but I'm not 100% sure. What about you, TParker?
Given how the rumor is that Scream 8 is in early development, and you know Kevin tends to like having or wants to have cliffhangers in his movies because originally Scream 4 was supposed to have a cliffhanger ending, which we didn't get that because of the Weinsteins. So
Good
given
God.
how Kevin wants this to be like cliffhanger ending, I feel like we can get 8 as soon as 2027, especially if Scream 7 does good in the box office.
Isn't Scream 6 the number one Scream movie at the box office out of all of them, I believe?
Domestically, but not worldwide, and
Okay.
not kind of inflation.
Okay.
It's
That's
still one,
crazy.
two, and three.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like after this, we want to talk about prediction about the box office.
Sure, we can do that. Catch up with Brad's chats here. Brandy with the most iconic line. Everybody's a suspect. Yeah, it was good. Randy had some of the greatest lines, mostly in Scream 2. Loved
Mhm.
most of Randy's dialogue in Scream 2 was just flawless in my opinion, especially with the killer. Who, what's your favorite movie? Showgirl's absolutely terrifying. You want to be one of the big boys, Manson, Bundy, OJ, and then he gets killed. Randy's I love his role in Scream 2, and it's unfortunate they killed him, but it made the movie more memorable. It's hard to keep up with all the news. Yeah, with Dexter and Scream casting news, and I'm still waiting for, well, I won't say it because I beat the dead horse with the Hannah McKay stuff, but that just ended anyway.
All right,
Uh,
J-Dev, I have a question for you.
yes,
Would you rather have Stu come back alive in 7 or Hannah McKay come back
Hannah
alive
McKay.
in Okay.
And I didn't even wait. I don't care if Hannah comes back to get killed off. I feel like if you're a Hannah hater, which I know you're not, but anybody that watches this on the playback or Brad, if you don't like the character of Hannah, don't you want her to have a proper death and not an on-screen death that you can't root for? Like you can root for the scene where Hannah died of pancreatic cancer. Like you want to be able to go, yes, they finally got rid of that bitch. I hate that character. That's what I would think. So I want, if she's not going to come back to be the love interest again, if she gets killed by Dexter, she gets killed by somebody else, I want to see the character back to have a proper death if they're going to kill her off. That would be my complaint about it. That's Clyde Phillips' thing. I don't think we're going to see Hannah. Although I would put it past them to have like a hallucination scene or dream sequence with Hannah. Maybe not initially, but maybe in future seasons of the show, especially if I keep commenting in all their Dexter posts about it. They'll get sick of it and be like, okay, let's make this guy happy. So, I'm fine with Hannah. Weird they gave her the Devon Sawa. Yeah, that pissed me off too. Not that I like the first Final Destination movie out of the two is probably my favorite. I really like that, and it's lame. And I'm surprised he hasn't come back yet. Well, at least at the moment. Who knows if he's in the newest one or not. Hannah's just, I don't know, something about that. Like I didn't like first time I watched Dexter, which was actually in 2014. I just got fired from a job in August of 2014 and started the new job that I'm at now currently on October 22nd of 2014. So I had some time from August 7th to October 27th. So I started watching Dexter for the first time after the show ended, which is amazing. So, and I've seen it 9 times, at least the first 8 seasons. And then New Blood, I've seen 3 times, and Original Sin I've only watched once. I don't know if Original Sin will do good on rewatch for me. I don't know, but I didn't initially Hannah. I didn't like Hannah like all that much, like I like her now. But every time I watched the show and rewatch it, I just found her more interesting, especially as the love interest, more than Rita. And Rita was mostly fake. Lumen he liked a lot, but I didn't like Lumen as much. And then Hannah came in and just stole the show, in my opinion. I know some people say she's dull and boring, but that's just me. So yeah, box office for Scream 7. How much money will it make on opening weekend? Now that depends a lot on when it comes out. February versus September versus November. I think there's some things in November that have been postponed too, so they could always do a November release date for it as well, I think. So, I think Scream opening weekend will do $38 million, and that's probably a low figure. Do you have it close what all the other movies did opening weekend right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll change my opinion depending on how much the other ones made. I can't remember. I remember what they did in their run in the theater, but I don't remember opening weekend stats as well. But I'll say at least 38 million. That's probably a low number though, with Nev Campbell coming back and Stu coming back, whether
Still
he's
coming back,
alive or dead.
especially.
It's probably going to do 50 to 60 million, but
You said how much? 30 million?
38, but that's probably a low
38.
number because I didn't factor in that
Actually,
movie back.
that's reasonable because Scream 2 opening was 33, 3 was 34, Scream 4 was 18, 5 30, 6 44.
Okay.
And the original Scream is the lowest at 6.4 million, but
Yeah, that
because of
gained
good word of
steam.
mouth,
Yeah.
it made more after.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say 41 million now. I'll raise it a little bit. I don't know how good it'll do the second week, though. It might fall off quite a bit after the initial week. What do you think, TParker?
I feel like I'm around the same with you, like around like in the late 30s or 40 million range with opening weekend. Depends on when they release this movie, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I feel like I think it'll do the best if they release it in September. That first weekend will be huge, but then the Michael Jackson movie is going to annihilate it. But I don't
Yeah.
think how much of a drop off it'll have. If it only drops off like 50%, that's still good. It'll still do well, but I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell because I don't think for a second they're coming out in February now. And I thought that from
Yeah.
the beginning when they released it so far, like they're already done filming now. Like there's no way they're going to wait that long for the movie to come out like they did with their last one. They bumped it up a little bit,
Hmm.
so we'll see.
Yeah, because
This
6 came out a few weeks earlier than planned because it's supposed to come out at the end of March, but it came out
Yep,
early March.
March 10th or March 9th, I
Yeah,
think I saw it on.
same. But why not release in October or November? Like, have it come out the same day as the Black Phone 2.
I'm not
Because the
super.
Black Phone is not as popular compared to Scream.
I don't know what they're going to do in the Black Phone 2. That's interesting that they're making a sequel and it's supposed to have the
Yeah,
grabber in it too.
yeah,
About as much as I remember about the Black Phone. Not a huge fan of the movie. Not saying it's a bad movie, but it's very basic.
yeah.
It's not scary at all, in my opinion.
I I thought it was very good, but like upon rewatching, I like it less, but still good. But why not release it with a Black Phone too, so you can have like a double feature kind of thing, like a Bob Harmer.
I don't know if we're going to reach the expectations that Barbenheimer did with all the money
I mean,
that
definitely not, but like
yeah
for horror fans, it'd be our Bob Harmer.
yeah. I mean, that would be cool. I don't know. That's it's interesting. I'm sure they have minds that are studying all the box office things right now. And I do think they can get everything done well in time for September. Probably have everything ready late July, early August, but we won't get a trailer right away, probably. So it remains to be seen, but I think they'll do 41 million opening weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure you jot that down, Brad, on replay when you watch this. Uh, Ryan, I was forgetting his name for a second there. Keep that number handy. See how well I do. Watch Scream 7 will do 80 million. No, that would be crazy. That's not going to happen. Does
Definitely
60
with
million.
definitely still coming back. I can see it making around the same Scream 6 made, maybe more, maybe just a bit more.
We'll see. It depends on how many people are mad about the whole Melissa Barrera situation. Like people that I'm boycotting this movie because of what happened with Melissa Barrera, which I'm not doing because it's a Scream movie. I would never do
Mm-hmm.
that. Although there are some people that voice their opinion about stuff so much in society these days that I don't want to watch their movies anymore. Just to be like, I'm getting tired of hearing your nonsense. I'm not going to go see your next movie.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to do that, but I had a thought in my head about it at one point a few months ago. But that's just me. But
But if
Yeah,
you see the amount of likes when they announced Matthew is coming back with Scream 7, it got a lot of likes.
okay.
It broke the internet. So I feel like the people boycotting Scream 7, let's be honest, is a very small minority. And also, they're only saying this. They will be seated, just won't say it.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think the Melissa Burr stuff is going to affect it that much. There's going to be the people that don't go see it, and I still hold hope that at some point they're going to be like, "Gotcha!" Melissa Burr Sam is going to show up in the movie because she did have a meeting with Spyglass after all that stuff happened, and I think they could easily, work out a compromise. Like, yeah, we're sorry, we let you go for dumb reasons. Like, I saw what she wrote, and I didn't think that was offensive at all. I've heard a lot worse from some people
Hmm.
and they weren't fired from their project. So I don't know why they jumped the gun and let her go for something that, unless it's something that we didn't see and the stuff that I saw wasn't it. But like what she said, it didn't seem like it was no big deal at all. But apparently
Yeah.
Spyglass didn't appreciate that. So we shall see. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, my anticipation for Scream 7, when once, I knew Nev was coming back, I figured Nev would come back. But once Stu was announced, like I was really hyped up for it, where before I wasn't super hyped up for it. So
For
looking
me,
forward.
I'm sorry, I
That's
was gonna
okay.
say something. For me, when you sent me that Scott Foley's come back, I was like, what? I didn't expect that at all. That was the biggest shock ever I got from 27, just the casting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just think like it makes sense to me perfectly that he'll be in a scene planning Maureen Prescott's murder with Billy and Stu. Um, Maybe not, but I feel like that would make sense to have in this, but who knows? Or maybe he'll have a different role. I don't know. It's an interesting casting to have Scott Foley, and I hope you get your wish of having Emma Roberts back as. I feel like Jill could still be alive too. Did she get shot in
She
the
didn't
head at
get
the end?
shot in it. She
No,
got
she
shot in
did.
the chest.
Okay. I feel like she could easily still be alive as well, and that would be great. And that's their plan was to have her come back in
Hmm.
Scream 5 when Scream 5 was going to come out right after Scream 4. So it was supposed to be a new trilogy, but then it only did 30 million at the. Why did Scream 4 only do 30 million at the box office? That's crazy.
It did worse. It did 18 million opening weekend.
Okay, I was just
But
combining for
like,
30 million.
yeah, many reasons. Bad marketing. At the time, slashers were unpopular. It's all about Insidious, Paranormal
Okay.
Activity. And also, Rio came out the same day. The animated film, Rio,
I am not
which,
familiar with it.
well, Rio made over $500 million, which came out the same
Okay.
day as Scream 4, so competition.
Okay. Okay.
So this whole Cat in the Hat and Scream 7, it's pretty much traumatic for us Scream fans.
Okay, so we can't come out on a day that any other big movies come out. We need to go up against a movie like 65, like Scream 5 went up, or Scream
Yeah,
6 went up against. Which I
yeah.
know I had tickets to go see that because I had planned to see Scream 6 the opening night, the first showing, and then I was going to see it the next day, and I actually bought tickets for 65 as well the next day. Like, yeah, this looks kind of good. And then Cody Leach and Charles CP Will Screedia CPO whatever you want to call them, they did a short. Like they saw both movies the same night, and they're like, Scream 6, boo. 65, even worse. So I canceled my tickets for 65. But then I watched it on Netflix, and I didn't hate it actually. I thought it was good, and I actually bought it on 4K. So never, some other people might have different opinions of you. It's, if you plan on watching something, watch it if you had interest in it, because you never know what your opinion will be on it. So
Yeah.
I think we've talked about all we can about Scream, unless there's something else that you can think of. Um, I don't, I'm sure there's something we forgot about that's a minuscule thing.
Trying to see what else we talk about Scream.
I get,
Oh,
we
how about
could,
this? Where do you hope Scream 7 will rank?
whew, that's a interesting
With all this
question.
casting, these rumors, or your speculations, what do you hope to, where would be your ranking?
So before all the casting news, the big casting news I'm talking about, Nev aside from Nev, I was thinking it would be my least favorite Scream movie. That's what I was thinking. Like I just have a feeling I'm not going to like this. but that I'm led with hope now. I don't know how much my ranking will change, which we'll go over our rankings. If people don't know already, we'll say our rankings real quick. I hope this will be my third favorite movie in the franchise. I hope. If it's
Same.
better than, I don't think it would be better than Scream, and obviously, there's nothing's going to stop Scream 2. I don't care what you do, unless they do like a Wes Craven's New Nightmare scenario where they bring back all the characters as their real life selves. But I don't think that would be as entertaining. I think that would be more slow and boring. But I actually talked to JB Kennedy about that at a Horror Hound 2019. I'm like, you think that'll ever happen for Scream? He's like, that's not a bad idea. I'm surprised we haven't done that yet. That way you can come back and anybody can come back from the first one. Drew and, all the other people, Henry Winkler, if he wants to come back.
Can I be honest about that? A New Nightmare Scream. I feel like that would work better as a mini TV series than a 2 hour movie.
Okay. And yeah, that wouldn't be so bad actually.
Because given what happened with Wes Craven's New Nightmare, it didn't make that much money.
It
But
opened
TV
up the bar
ratings would
for
be
Scream.
different. Yeah. But TV ratings speaks differently.
Okay. That's true. And TV ratings aren't what they used to be. Like they don't really tell you what the ratings are for now. They'll tell you what the cable TV ratings were, but streaming they might necessarily talk about. So my rating or my ranking of the Scream franchise for those that didn't already: sixth place Scream 3, fifth place Scream 4. Sorry, TParker. Fourth place Scream 5, third place Scream 6, second place Scream, and first place Scream 2, if you didn't know that already.
It's so
So,
funny. Before Scream 6 came out, we had the same ranking. Now it's so different.
sorry. It's my opinion might change. I don't know. I have changed my opinion on stuff, but I don't know if it'll happen for Scream. But you never know. I'll definitely rewatch. I'll probably try to watch it twice, the fifth one and the fourth one, because those are the ones that I have mixed opinions on things that they did, and then I'll probably watch the third one too, and then I guess I have to watch six too. I don't know if I need to rewatch the first and second one. I will at some point, but probably only one time because I've seen Scream 6, so Scream 2 so many times. Like you can put it on in the background and mute it, and I can say word for word what's happening, and then turn the TV up, and they'll be at that part. Like it's ridiculous how many times I've seen that movie. So give everybody your ranking if they didn't really know it already, but just in case.
All right, so for me, Scream 6, Scream 5, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream, Scream 2.
Love it. Love the fact that me and TParker, our first two, the same. So that's all that matters. I think that's a really good ranking, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. We're weird. We like Scream 2 more than Scream 1. So there's a lot of people out there that are rolling their eyes and canceling us right now. I'm gonna catch up with what Brad's saying on the chat, and then maybe we'll open it up to a couple of minutes of random discussion or something like that, and then we'll close things out. Brad, it's hard to keep up with all the news. I think I already read that. I'm fine with Hannah. Where they gave her the Devon South. I already read that too. I expect Scream 7 to follow Scream 6's performance. Yeah, it's something along the lines of that. Matthew Lillard offsets Melissa Barrera loss. Yeah, that probably is. Ultimately, I don't know how many people really care about Melissa Barrera. Not to say anything negative about her, but like compared to Matthew Lillard, I think obviously he's a way bigger star. So maybe that's not going to factor in at all, and everybody will go see it now that Stu's coming back and Sydney's back. That should be enough. 65 was pretty bad. Speed watched it on Netflix. I had such low expectations for it. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I just didn't hate it. Like I watched the whole movie, didn't fall asleep, and to me, that's a positive experience. If I could stay awake and watch the whole movie, I think it's okay. Typically, Scream 7, I'll predict fourth place. Okay, I hope it's
Same.
third, but I think it's going to fall in fourth.
I feel like for me, either third or fourth place.
One. So from worst to first, 3, 6, 5, 2. He put 2 at number 3, and then 4, and then 1.
For me,
I like
Brad,
it.
as long as 1, 2, and 4 are in your top three, no cancellation for me.
Okay, fair enough. Brad's awesome. I just cancel to be funny. I don't really like this like people think, oh, you cancel everybody because you hate their opinion. I'm just trying to be funny, and I'm sure Brad knows that. But just in case he did, I just think it's funny. It's like me talking about Scream 2 every Sledgehammer Horror stream. I have to cancel people too, and then uncancel them during the stream too. So no biggie there. And Brad laughs. He's okay with that. So yeah, we beat a dead horse on Scream now, so we can end our Scream discussion. For all of you that don't want to anything else that we talk about right now, um, you can stop watching the stream. We're gonna just talk about a couple of movies or something, TV shows that we're watching, and then wrap things up here. So, T. Parker, there hasn't been a lot of movies that have come out lately this year, but what are your top 3 favorite movies that have come out in the theater thus far?
Give me a second. Let me
Gotta
pull
look
my
them up.
box.
Hopefully my keyboard still works without actually wiping it down during this whole time period. I was going to get up and get paper toweling, but I didn't want to leave this discussion.
All right, so top 5. The Monkey is number 1.
Okay, that's right.
Number 2, Mickey 17. Have you seen that?
No.
It's on by Flower Patterson. I thought it was very good.
Okay.
Number 3, Heart Eyes. 4, Companion. And 5, The Gorge.
Okay. The only ones that I've seen out of those are Hard Eyes and Companion. Right now in this ranking, like I don't know how confident I am in this because I do change my scores, but I won't put the new score. I won't put a new listing. I'll just change the score. My least favorite movie thus far is Borderline. Have you heard about that one yet?
Yeah, I saw it. I gave it 7 out of 10. I actually had fun with it.
Okay. I didn't. Did you say that during the?
Yeah, remember I canceled you. I canceled you because you posted like a 2 out of 5.
Just not on the stream, but during the Instagram thing. Yeah, I mean, I thought the performances were good, especially Jack Nicholson's son, which I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Just Jack Nicholson's son. Samara Weaving, love her. I'll see most of the stuff that she's in just because I like her. I didn't. Back in Action, I'd say that's the next least favorite of them. That's the Cameron Diaz's return to acting with Jamie Foxx as a Netflix movie. It was good. It wasn't like anything special, but I gave it 3 out of 5. My next least favorite would probably be Hard Eyes, just because like the movie started with like slasher stuff and then went rom-com for too long, and I started losing interest in it because it like went on for too long and then finally went back to slasher stuff. But it's a movie that could, upon a rewatch, could get better, but I don't know for sure if I'm going to rewatch it. Well, I'll probably buy it. What am I talking about? I buy too much stuff these days.
I'd say wait later because only the Blu-ray's coming out in April.
Okay.
Wait until the 4K comes out later in the year.
Okay, I might. I hate that when they do that. It's pissing me off. Last Breath was pretty good. Now I'm not really sure which one's my favorite or not. That one I went to see because I hadn't been leaving the house for a while. Like I've been cramped up in my apartment too long. So I'm like, I got to go see a movie. So I just went to a movie on a Sunday night. That's my usual random, I'm going to go to the theater without it planned night. And that's what I saw Last Breath. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Novocaine I wanted to like more, but it made me fall asleep for a little bit. And me falling asleep is like for a minute or two, a couple times. So because it did that, I had to give it a lower score. It's probably a 4 out of 5, but I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty generic, and it was carried by Jack Quaid and Ray Nicholson.
Yeah. And then thus far, which obviously won't be the case by the end of the year, my favorite movie is Companion. I gave that a 4 out of 5 with again, Jack Quaid, who I think is really good. And if you haven't checked it out yet, for those of you that are in the chat or rewatching this on replay, check out Sean Chandler's interview with Jack Quaid. I think it was really good. And he gave me a scoop that he's going to probably be interviewing Finn Wolfhard this week of Stranger Things and Ghostbusters Afterlife. So
wait, so you haven't seen The Monkey yet?
I have not.
Wow, how come?
I was getting once I saw your rating of it. I want to say you saw it later than everybody else did.
I saw it on the Friday. It came out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna go see it, and then it wasn't playing in my theater that I would go to. That's why I didn't go see it. But I mean, I didn't have interest in it initially, and then like all the people talked about, like Cody Leach, but it wasn't playing where I want to see it. But I'll buy it when it comes out, and I'll give a rating of it. Hopefully, I'll like it as much as everybody else is. But yeah, I've not seen Monkey. I've been slacking. I've been not going to theaters much this year. I mean, usually I had seen like 20 movies by now, and I've only seen like 6 or 7. So I need to get back in the groove, but it's cost too money to travel. Like going to the
For
theater for
me,
me,
oh, no, you go first. Sorry, you
I
go
was just gonna
first.
say,
Finish
me
up.
going to one movie is usually $100 because I don't drive, so I have to Uber, which had to pay gas prices anyway. So Uber back and forth. I have to get a burger at the movie theater. I have to get my Reese's cup and my water and pretzel bites. So it's like $100 and plus the cost of the movie, which that's not the biggest thing. It's all the food stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's about $100 per trip for a movie when I go see a movie or
Which
more.
theater you go to?
I go to a Marcus theater,
Um,
not
um,
AMC.
yeah, I go to AMC. I have an AMC pass, so I don't pay much money monthly for it. But
Well, at least I will say at least I went to AMC twice last year after boycotting it for so long. I went to
how come?
see I think I told you this story before. Maybe we didn't go much in detail about it. Basically, in 2013, a female friend of mine wanted to see the Hunger Games, one of the Hunger Games movies. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been the first one. And when I went in there, I wanted pretzel bites. That's my tradition. I get well, before they had a bar with really good food in the theater, I always get pretzel bites. Even still, even though if I have a burger, I still get pretzel bites. And I'm like, as long as they're fresh, and they're like, yep, they're fresh. And I didn't feel it. I just put it in my mouth and I actually chipped a tooth off the pretzel bites. And then I'm like, yeah, these are not fresh. Like, do you see this tooth that's just now chipped? Oh, sorry. And like, they didn't do anything. I'm like, and I said, like, why did you tell me these were fresh? I don't remember. They just kind of blew it off. Like, I don't remember. It's not my fault that you didn't feel the texture of the pretzel bite before you put it in your mouth. And I was just mad by that. So at that moment, I'm like, I'm never coming here again. And for the longest
Yeah,
time, I did. As my eyes are really blurry right now. Bear with me a second here.
I've
Why?
been mad too. That's their job.
So I mean, it's my bad for just putting it in my mouth right away without like squeezing it a little bit.
No, it's
But
their job to make sure it's actually eatable first.
yeah, they're not supposed to leave them in there for an hour. They're supposed to make new ones like every
Yeah.
so often. But at that point, they did. But that was back in 2013. So times
Mm.
have changed since then. So that's why I didn't go there for the longest time. But then I wanted to see In a Violent Nature, and In a Violent Nature wasn't playing at Marcus. So that's why I went to AMC. And then because of the timing of the movie, the showtime was convenient. I went to see Deadpool and Wolverine for the second time with my roommate at AMC, and the theater was terrible. I was expecting a Dream Lounger leather recliner for a IMAX, and it was like a shitty old style theater seat, and I
Yeah,
was
IMAX don't have
super,
the
I was
don't have
super
that.
uncomfortable. Oh my god, they're like really like small seats, like
Hmm.
it's it's like what this is like really like narrow, not a lot of room, not a lot of width. So I was not happy. I was very fidgety during the whole movie trying to get comfortable as my roommate was enjoying Deadpool and Wolverine and the cameos that were in it. So
Yeah, for IMAX seats, there are reclines because if you recline, it would be less seats for a big screen. If you want
okay,
recliners, either standard showing or Dolby Cinema.
okay. So now I checked the theater a couple times. If I like, I'll look like when I wanted to see Borderline at the theater. I didn't know it was a streaming release at first, so I kept looking at showtimes and like Marcus didn't have any, so I went to AMC. They showed it as coming soon, so I was open to seeing a movie if it's not available at where I want to see it. But then I found out it was streaming and not a really big theater release. So watched it and wasted $7 or $6.99 on it in the at home on Amazon.
Same, which I did too.
I've only gone to see two in the theater, Hard Eyes and The Monkey. Okay. Hard Eyes was good. It might be a
I
movie that
want,
I like better on rewatch.
uh, for me, the older I get, the less I want to go to the theater unless it's a movie I want to see, really want to see.
I'm starting to feel that way now. Like I need to stop going to these random movies. Like I try to replicate what Cody Leach and Sean Chandler do, and I'm not Cody Leach and Sean Chandler. I don't have the money to go see it. I mean, I have money, but not like I have $1,000 sitting in the bank at any given time. I have like a dollar or two if I haven't lived paycheck to paycheck that week. So I need to cut back and wait for streaming more since I had more streaming things lately than I usually do. I try not to have as many streaming things, but I gotta have Paramount Plus for Dexter.
Hmm.
And then, of course, with Yellow Jackets, which my Paramount expires Thursday, no, 25th. So I'll probably keep that until that's over with and then take a break from Paramount. And now I have Netflix, which I didn't like Netflix for the longest time, but it's easier for me to just watch something on Netflix rather than put in the disc that I already own. So it's stupid
Yeah,
for
for
me to
me,
watch.
Netflix, I canceled Netflix last year. It just get more and more expensive every year, or rather
Yeah.
every 6 months, to the point where like I don't watch anything here besides Wednesday and Stranger Things. So whenever a new season drops, I will get the cheapest subscription plan with ads and just watch it until it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I got Netflix again because I'm not a big wrestling fan anymore, but because wrestling is now on Netflix and it's a weekly thing, my roommate expressed interest in it. So at the moment, our agreement is every 2 months we pay for it. So I'll pay for it 2 months, then he'll pay for it 2 months. So that's what we're doing right now. And I get lazy. Like I have all the discs. I try to get everything I can on physical media. Right now, I'm watching some episodes of Dexter on Netflix, which I can watch on Paramount too.
Hmm.
And I'm watching Stranger Things on Netflix, which I own all the seasons of thus far. So
Wait, you can
reviews of
own them?
I own the disc. They had them at Target the first 2 seasons. They
Oh,
had
but
like
not
a
3 or 4?
no. Did you know? Yeah,
Yeah.
Target sold like a VHS case of Stranger Things season 1 and 2. Like it was Blu-rays, but it looked like a big VHS case. You want me to show it to you? I'll
Oh
show it to
yeah,
you.
actually,
Give
yeah.
me a second. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So Stranger Things. What season is this? I don't know which season's which. I think this is season 1 and season 2.
Nice. That's good.
And then I got all the other seasons on eBay. They're like foreign imports, but they work just fine. Some of them might have different subtitles. You just turn the subtitles off and it's regular.
Nice.
So I have to own stuff, even though it costs a lot more. So yeah, Stranger Things
Actually, you
reviews on my
save money.
channel will be happening at the moment April 25th, but that might be postponed at some point before the end of April. Stranger Things reviews will start because I'm done with Big Bang Theory and Better Call Saul, even though they're not done on my channel yet. But I've already done with them and already got those reviews recorded. So if you want to hear me talk about Stranger Things, you'll see it soon.
I recommend this show called Barry, since you love Dexter.
That's funny. So at my job, I just had a new hire class that I did some training on, and one of the people wanted to talk about Dexter. That's how I break the ice. I just start talking about TV shows. And he's like, "Have you seen Barry yet?" So I did try to watch Barry twice. I watched the first episode, or I tried to watch the first episode. Had it on for about 3 minutes, and I realized I wasn't paying attention at all. Again, 3 minutes. That's not the show's fault. That was me just deciding that I wanted to look at my phone rather than watch a new show. So I put it on again, like a week later, a couple weeks ago, and the first episode put me to sleep twice. So I don't. I intend to go back to it and at least try 3 episodes of it, but I haven't yet because 24 is taking up my free time right now. So
But
it's on the list. I just
it's really good since there's a lot of similarities between the two shows, Barry and Dexter.
I've
It's
heard
you would
that.
see a lot. So I recommend a try.
Is Yvonne Strahovski in it?
There's some very shocking twists and turns
Okay.
in the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Like think of I won't say like it's amazing compared to season 4 Dexter, but like season 1, 2 Dexter.
Okay. Season 2 is amazing. I'm glad that you like season 2 more than season 1 now. Although season 1's really good, but season 2 just had something different. It was. I feel like that should
Season
have been
2
season.
has better pacing compared to 1.
Yeah. At some point here soon, I need to record my top 10 favorite Dexter episodes, which I have in my head. I just haven't done yet. I've been procrastinating about doing that for some reason because I
Half of them
probably
are season 4.
Yeah, there's 3 of them that are season 4. Where's my list? I don't know where my list is. I had a list of them,
And at
but yeah,
least
most
two
of
of
them are.
them has Hannah. Okay.
There are only 2 that have Hannah McKay. Season 7, episode 12, surprise motherfucker,
Hmm.
and season 8, episode I don't remember 8. Are we there yet? The episode where Dexter and Hannah go look for Zach Hamilton,
Yeah.
and then Deb shows up, and then they all end up at Evelyn Vogel's house at the end. Not a very memorable episode for some people, but I really enjoyed it. So that made the list at the moment. Although I haven't recorded anything, I do want to rewatch all those episodes. Well, probably not the 2 New Blood episodes that make the list, but and then a couple season 4 episodes. But there's like 4 that I probably need to rewatch to know what their placement is. And I want to have that video done by this Thursday and have it air Thursday morning, but there's no guarantees because I've been procrastinating about doing that for some reason, which is a Dexter video. I think my Dexter AMA discussion video didn't do as well. So that like maybe, oh, well, then I'm not going to do another Dexter video. It only did like 50 views, which whatever, that's fine. But compared to some of my Dexter videos that happened for Original Sin and my ranking did 5,000 and 14,000 views, it was a little disappointing, but I can't control when people want to watch a video or not. So
I guess because the big show right now is Severance, so that's what people want to talk about.
yeah, I hear good things about Severance. Are you watching that one?
It's one of those shows where if you tell me it's the best show of all time currently, I'm not gonna watch it now. I'll watch it later.
Okay. Well, if you do end up watching it, I would recommend watching review videos of it for Matt and Jess TV. They have good reviews of that show amongst Dexter stuff, Yellow Jacket stuff. They do a lot of show reviews, like 7 or 8 at a time, so they do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Catch up on Brad's comments in the chat. Novocaine just looked like a boy's replica. I agree.
Yeah.
Discount Tuesdays is the way to go. They're too busy on Tuesdays. I like to go Thursday nights usually. Thursday nights when a new release premiere showing, or Sunday nights is usually my movie theater times.
Yeah.
Although the 5th, the new what's his name, Remy Malik, guy from
Oh, the amateur.
yeah, I might see that Saturday night. Has an early screening of it. I might go see that Saturday night.
How
Might.
about Death of a Unicorn? I believe this is a special showing on Monday.
Okay. That one's not on my radar,
With
but who
Paul
knows?
Rudd, Jenny Ortega.
Okay. It's I know of it. I should rephrase that. I know of it. I just don't have it on my radar yet.
Hmm.
I don't blame you for self boycotting. Got to vote with your wallet. Yeah, especially when I
Yeah.
get not fresh pretzel bites. Nothing pisses me off more. Hard to deny the ease of just pressing play with streaming. I'm not a big streaming guy, surprisingly enough, but lately I've been having too many streaming sites. Like at one point, I had like 6 at the end of last year, but I canceled a few of them. I actually have HBO Max or Max for free. I've had that for free for a while because my ex girlfriend had my account, and I think she gave her friend my login information, which is fine. But for some reason, her friend changed the payment method to something on Roku, and I can't log into the Roku. So she's been paying for it for like 7 months. I said something about it. They haven't came back to me with it. So at the moment, I have Max for free until they do something about it. So they hijacked my account and they don't. They guess they enjoy the content on there, which doesn't look like they've watched it at all. So I don't know what's going on with that. But one day, let's say it's your account's been canceled or you need to pay for it. Like, oh, it's about time. But I don't really watch Max anymore. I typically view physical as more guaranteed, but I learned of disc rot. I saw that from Wet Me. Are you familiar with Wet Movie One?
Mm-mm.
He's does physical media videos, horror related content, sometimes wrestling fan. Watched one of his videos recently that talked about disc rot. I don't believe it, but who knows?
For me, it's the 4K disc. They're very fragile compared to the regular Blu-rays. Because sometimes my 4K discs, even though I take care of them, they keep like skipping scenes. Or is that just me?
I don't have issues with a 4K disc. I do have issues with. Do you own all the Alien movies?
I don't. Well, just Romulus. That's it.
Okay, so they came out with like an Alien uh, booklet disc set. It was like the first 4 movies, and for some reason, a lot of those skip, which is now it's you can't find it anywhere. But I bought it luckily before it got discontinued. A lot of those skip. I don't know if it's just that, but I usually don't have problems, but except for that Alien box set. I think it's the Alien Anthology box set.
Mm.
Barry was solid. Another one I didn't finish though. Yeah, I heard Barry ends really good, but that's
It
who
does. It's
knows.
very good.
Zach from season 8 is what we should got it from Harrison. I
I
100%
agree.
agree.
I agree.
Yeah, see, people that hate on season 8, like I get it. Like there was a drop off, but not as bad as season 6 in my opinion. I feel like Zach Hamilton reminds me of the son that Dexter didn't have with Harrison that he wanted to teach the code to until Daniel Vogel / Oliver Saxon, whatever you want to call him, decided to cut him and kill him. So I think there's a good family element in season 8. The only problems with season 8 is they kind of breeze past LaGuerta's death and name a bench after her. Like I feel like the time jump that they have at the start of season 8 may have fixed some of the problems if they didn't have that time jump. But I feel like season 8 is better than 6, better than New Blood, and better than season 3. Cancel me, not a fan of season 3. I just feel like it's not that interesting compared to the 2 seasons that it's sandwiched in between season 2 and season 4.
So I'm currently almost done watching season 3, and not gonna lie, I
You
had
like it?
more fun with season 3.
Are
It's
you?
still like near the bottom for me, but it's I would say it's better than New Blood, season 6,
I do have it
and
rated ahead of them.
maybe 8, maybe 8.
Mm. You know, I would probably need to rewatch season 3 because opinions can change. Um, I just feel like it, like when season 3 started, when I first started watching the show, I felt like it was a huge drop off from season 1 and season 2. And ever since then, like I just haven't enjoyed season 3 as much, even though I like Miguel Prado as a character. And it just, I don't know, something about it. I don't know. Maybe it's the Skinner. Who knows? Maybe he's the
I
problem.
was I say because compared to the first 2 seasons and 4, season 3 is kind of like the filler season where not a lot of important things happen.
Yeah.
It's more of a character season.
I have some DVDs that I think have rot and don't play as well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I own, so I'm sure there's something that I have that might not work. But the thing I know for sure is my Aliens anthology set. All the discs I think have problems. Like they'll eventually work, but it's like an annoyance to get them to work. It's like when you had um, yeah, TParker's probably too young for that, but when the original Nintendo came out, you had to blow on the thing and to have it
I'm not
play.
I'm not
And
too young for that. I used to do it all the time.
okay, well, I guess that happened with Sega Genesis too. But yeah, they would malfunction a lot too. Maybe matters differently depending on your climate. I guess I'm in good old cold Wisconsin, which I love the cold and hate warm weather. So season 8,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Season 6 is terrible.
It's
I don't like
just
it.
boring to me.
I think I don't really know what the major problem with season 6 is. I just feel like you wanted to focus on religion. You introduce this character of his brother Sam Mostaf, which his next comment is about, and then you kill him off right away. Like what is that? Let's make sense of this writing. Mostaf was the only good part of season 6. I agree. I think the premiere episode of season 6 where Dexter goes to his high school class reunion and all of a sudden he's like the most popular person there. I do like that episode. If I had to pick a favorite episode of season 6, that would be my favorite episode of season 6 because I feel like me back in high school, I was not popular. I was kind of the kid that didn't talk to anybody because I was a late bloomer. Like I graduated high school at 5'7.5", and right now I'm 6'3.5". Just wasn't outgoing as I am now. Selective outgoingness that I have now. Oh,
For
Brad.
me,
Oh, season 3 is king.
I
Oh,
guess for
good.
me, season 6 best episode was Brian coming back for that one episode.
Okay, Nebraska.
Yeah, because it connects to season 4 again with Arthur Mitchell with his
Okay, yeah,
son.
Jonah Mitchell. Yeah, yeah. That's good too. I just think the one that I have the most fun with is the premiere episode where he goes to his high school crash reunion and then gets a blowjob from the prom queen or something like that.
Yeah,
So I had fun with it, as Ashley would say for Halloween Resurrection.
I
But
do like I do like how they brought in Batista's sister Jamie in
yeah,
the show.
but then they don't explain what happened to Sophie or Sophia, the one
I
that
don't
was
care
in.
for Sophia. She's just there.
She went to Orphan Black, and they don't really acknowledge what happened to her. So That's Mrs. S in Orphan Black. Season 3 is not King, Brad. Hammer Time. Yes, indeed.
I mean, it's kind of King on his third rewatch for me.
No, it's not King. It's terrible. I mean, I need to rewatch it again, even though I've rewatched it 9 times or I've watched it 9 times already. But, my opinion could change on it. I don't know. I find it boring and I don't know. I have more fun with season 8. I like season 8. I enjoy it more than most, but that's just me. But who knows? Do you think they had other plans for Lewis Green? I don't think so. I think their plan was to kill him off pretty soon.
Is
From
that the stalker, the obsessed?
Masuka's intern that turns
Yeah,
into somebody that blackmails Dexter and then cancels all of his credit cards.
yeah. They just coming off too early in season 7.
And then had Isaac Serco kill him off.
I did like Isaac though; he was good.
Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that was a good character. I feel like season 7 doesn't get as much love as it should. It's so good.
It's underrated. I love that season.
Yeah, Clyde Phillips won't acknowledge it at all, but Scott Reynolds during the AMA finally acknowledged it. It's
That's better.
people that
Unfair for the fans.
people that say after season 4 of Dexter it's all down here from there need to open up their eyes and look what they said. More like, open up your eyes and look what you just said.
You did.
Or hear what you just said. I know that's the line, look what you did, but like that's just a dumb statement. Yeah, season 6 is dumb. Season 8, I'll say season 8 is dumb because most of the people say it's dumb. I think the ending is fine. I'd rather have that ending than New Blood, for crying out loud. And Hannah's in it. So I guess since I like Hannah, I like the season more, and that might be one of the reasons why. But that's me. And season 5, I think, is really good, actually. I feel like Deb should have known Dexter was the killer at the end of season 5 versus waiting until season 6, but they wanted to stall out the plot longer, so who knows?
Yeah.
Feels like we had a build up with him, and then boom, dead. Yeah, that was New Blood. I mean, I had recency bias when I first saw it, so I was more like positive on it, but rewatching New Blood, oh, it was painful. Like there's so many underdeveloped characters on New Blood that you don't really give a shit about. They have this cop that all she does is Google search and finds things out, but yet she has case of missing girls that she's had for 25 years, and she can't figure out a damn thing about that. So I don't know. I think season New Blood, initially I liked it for the most part. Especially there are a few episodes that are good. Runaway, I think, is good, where Batista shows up at the conference, and then the family business, the 9th episode, I think is good. Although I haven't rewatched it yet, so maybe my opinion will change on that. Or I haven't rewatched it since the last time I watched it, which I've rewatched. I've watched season 3 times. Season New Blood, I've watched it 3 times now. So maybe my opinion will change, but I think there's 2 good episodes that would be on my top 10, at least that I'm thinking of right now. TParker, how many times have you seen New Blood?
Once when it aired. I was so pissed off at that finale.
Yeah, it was. I remember what I gave it as a score, and I'm not happy that I gave it. I believe I gave it a 9 out of 10 in my original review of it, because to me, watching that episode, like that's not the finale. You didn't have Dexter pronounced dead. You didn't get to see reactions for Batista's on his way. So I'm like, this can't be the end. And then Clyde Phillips like, no, this is the end. We wouldn't do that to you people. This is the end. I'm like, what? And then rewatching it, I was really, when I did a rewatch of all the seasons and rescored them all, I was not, other than episode 5 and episode 9, I was very critical. The first one's not bad either, Cold Snap. That's not that bad.
But yeah, for me, up until the finale, it was like a 9 out of 10. Then the finale came out. It's like a 7 out of 10 now. But like before Resurrection comes out, I'm going to rewatch New Blood for the first time since it aired.
That'll be interesting. You'll probably give it a 4 out of 10 by then.
Maybe.
I think you're gonna love everything about season 5 and season 4. You'll hate season 6 still. Season 7, but you know what? I like season 7 more than I liked it before. And then
No, I love season 7.
Right.
Love season 7.
I think you'll like it more. I can't remember what your exact ranking is.
It's on 4th place.
It's 4th.
season
Okay.
7.
Oh, I think our ranking was the same, actually, wasn't it? Our recent rankings were the same.
I believe I had Original Sin higher. It's number 5 for me.
Okay, and I had it 6 or 7, something like that.
It's very similar, but not the same.
I assume you're going to rewatch Original Sin before Resurrection.
Probably not because it just aired. I already know, and it's a prequel besides the opening.
That's true. Yeah, there's not much to go over that. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to rewatch Original Sin. I'm sure I will, but like, there's
When
not
they
really.
announce season two, probably.
Who knows? I'm surprised they haven't announced it yet. That worries me. Like they it did so well. They should have already made an announcement about it, unless they didn't plan on making another season.
I guess it's focusing on Resurrection right now, and then once they're done with filming, they start writing for Original Sin or something.
Okay.
Season two.
Quinn's side plot was the only part of season 7. Yeah, the whole strip club thing with Nadia was it was okay, but it could have been done better, I think.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Season 8 is like Saw 7. Hated on, but a fun time. And
I
both
agree.
have Sean Patrick Flannery. Yeah. I think Sean Patrick Flannery is while he's like one of the best adversaries for Dexter because he just wouldn't give up. He was in it for the money. Once he found out the Hannah McCain money, he wanted the money, the reward money. He was just a better. He's not really a villain, but he is a villain at points. But Jacob Elway will go down in history as the guy just wouldn't give up. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Elway at some point. Actually, that would be cool. Anybody that comes back, I'll like, even if it's like a character like Elway, because I'll think it's good that they're finally acknowledging season 8, which Clyde Phillips, God forbid, he won't acknowledge it. I don't know. I said this before. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know if Clyde Phillips is the right person for this Resurrection series. He's the one that's obviously getting it done with Michael C. Hall, but I feel like he's out of touch with what the Dexter fans really want because you don't want to kill episode 2, Storm of Fuck of New Blood. You kill off Hannah McKay. There I go again. Off screen. You really gave her an off screen death? Like, I don't, whatever.
And also, they wanted to continue with Harrison for season 2, New Blood. We don't care about Harrison. We care about Dexter.
God, what a dumb idea. Nobody would. I mean, I would watch it just to criticize it and
Hmm.
probably review it for the channel, but like, I'm just doing this because I have to, I guess. Well, I don't have to, but people would expect me to do it, and maybe I'd get views on it for all my criticisms of it. I only watched New Blood once too, LOL. The last 20 minutes killed the whole franchise for me for a while. Yeah,
Same.
I mean, it didn't kill it for me initially because I'm like, that can't be the end. They did pronounce him dead. You still have Batista on the way. And then the Clyde Phillips made the comment about, yeah, this is the end. We wouldn't do that to you, everybody. We killed him off. And like, what? I guess it did have some finality moments with Harrison driving, reading the letter to Hannah, and then the music that was playing, and then Dexter says, "Please let me die so my son could live." But like, he didn't get pronounced dead. Batista's still on the way, and we didn't get that. Fucking bullshit.
I don't understand how you do a finale like that.
I think we'll get original sin actors and resurrection flashbacks. It's very possible. I thought initially they would cast Christian Slater as Harry in Resurrection as well, but then we got James Remar back, which kind of surprises me. But I was thinking that we would get Christian Slater for the rest of the Dexter run, but guess not. But we
How
might
do you
see him again in
feel
Resurrection.
between the two Harry actors? I feel it's so different from each other.
Yeah, I still like Christian Slater though, but
I thought he didn't get that warm father feel compared to the original.
we've talked about this. But Clyde, I'm not sure is all there at times. Yeah, it's. I would rather have Scott Reynolds be the showrunner personally. Just hearing what he has to say, he's more open to everything that happened on Dexter versus Clyde Phillips. I'm surprised Clyde Phillips just didn't start with Dexter season 5. Like, I'm just going to start where I left off at and not, come back
Yeah,
for a new blood. Then he
retcon
can erase a
everything
lot of
after.
problems or start from season 8. That way he can bring Deb back and whatnot instead of having her be psychotic ghost Deb. Clyde was so righteous with killing the serial killer, but when the money came, he was like, okay, never mind, LOL. Well, that's not entirely true. So it wasn't Clyde Phillips that wanted to bring Dexter back. I mean, he probably wanted him to come back, but it was actually Michael C. Hall that called him and, like, Dexter's in my blood. Dexter's in your blood. Can we bring me back and make it make sense? Because I want to come back. And then he apparently called Scott Reynolds. Can we do this? We got an idea. Yeah, let's do it. That's what I'm hearing happened. That it was Michael C. Hall that I don't know if he needed money or he wants to promote another record that he has coming out with his band. Kind of mean, but it's Michael C. Hall is the reason why we're getting this. It's the reason why New Blood ended because he wanted to be done with the role at that time. But I'm sure the amount of ratings it did, and Paramount, they probably are forking over a hefty sum for Michael C. Hall.
I mean, New Blood was Showtime's best stream show ever.
Until Original Sin came along.
Yeah,
Dexter should be the brand.
it should.
So I think we should wrap it up here. I mean, we could talk about Dexter all night long, but we could just save that for another night and have a
That's
Dexter
true.
specific stream. And we can, once we find out some more information or see a teaser trailer or something like that. So I want to thank everybody for that joined the chat. Brian, Brad, I didn't see any. Oh, the other person that I didn't recognize, Acres something. I have to go way back here. Areas of movies. So I appreciate you all in the chat. TParker, always great to talk to you, especially about my favorite franchise and your second favorite franchise of all time. We'll do this again for Dexter. If you want to talk about Dexter, you should probably tell me, hey, let's do a stream about Dexter because I'll be more inclined. Otherwise, I procrastinate. So if there's something that you want to talk about, you tell me about it, and I'll be more willing to do it if somebody else wants to talk about stuff. And I know I didn't really come to you about the thumbnail. I just kind of worked one up really quick, and I actually went out of my way to like do a different thumbnail thing, but it looked like one of my usual generic thumbnails. So I'll try to make a better thumbnail next
No,
time.
it looked great to me. No problems.
I'm glad you feel that way, but like it's there. Most of my thumbnails are rather generic, and this one, while the thing that I used for the thumbnail, I thought it was going to be a lot better, but then when the final product, it just didn't look right, and the things aren't sized right. But it was better than what I normally do, I think, for some things. So I'll try to get a better picture next time. I just took a picture that I had that I could find right away instead of saying, "Hey, send me a picture with you in a scream mask or you holding the scream mask or something like that." So yeah, let's see. Brad has anything to say before I wrap this up. So Brad, appreciate you being here and chatting us with about Dexter and Scream franchise. It's always two subjects that I love to talk about. Like I said, TParker, anytime Scream, Dexter stuff, we can definitely do that. If you want to do a stream about Halloween, yeah, well, I can do that, and we can.
I mean, you're not really a Halloween fan, so we're gonna have
That's
to.
not entirely true. So me being a 1980 baby, I was raised on Friday the 13th and Halloween. So saying that while I might not like the franchise as much, that's the movies I owned all the VHS tapes. I watched them continuously over the years. That Friday the 13th, the Leprechaun movies, the first three at least, I watched a lot. Don't know why, but those were VHS tapes I had. So I watched them all many times. So it might not be my favorite franchise, but it's not like I've seen the movies 5 times. I've probably seen each movie aside from Halloween Kills, I've probably seen at least the first 6 or 7 movies at least 20 times, probably more, especially for 1978. I've seen that countless amounts of times. So we can do that. We can talk about Friday the 13th. I'm a little bit more or less liking of that franchise. It's
Right.
my recent rewatch, which is crazy. I didn't think I'd actually have that opinion. So
I would
anyway,
say Friday 13th is the worst thing for me to come on because I don't have any love for that franchise.
okay, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Then it's we had different opinions. So my opinion wasn't as positive last time I rewatched them last year for Friday the 13th. I think it was in December. Like some of them, hate most of them, or not hate's a strong word because I hate Resurrection, but
Mhm.
Ashley can have some fun with it at least. I'm glad that she has fun with it. I can't. I you know I know people are entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine. But like, why? Like when people say they can have fun with Jason Takes Manhattan, no, you can't.
Uh,
The movie has so many flaws.
okay. I can't have fun with Halloween Resurrection, but I
No,
can have fun with Jason Takes Manhattan. I can.
really
Yeah,
interesting. I
because
can't.
I'm not a big Jason fan, so I don't care about the lore, or I'm not very critical over that film. So I just have fun.
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad that you're able to have fun with it. That's not many people do. So I'm glad that you like it. That's cool. I think it's. I mean, there's movies that I hate in horror and Resurrection, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes a Boat to Vancouver, Seed of Chucky. Although it was a little bit better the last time I watched them for that big stream that Ken and Ashley did where we ranked a bunch of the franchises, each movie.
Mhm.
So I liked it a little bit more, but I still think it's mostly garbage. But I've
I
learned
would
to
say
appreciate
See
it a
a
little bit more.
Chucky.
What
isn't the
about it?
worst
Okay,
of the
that's
franchise.
a
Have
lot
you
of
seen
people say that now. So I know that a lot of people have changed their tune on that. I haven't yet, but
Have you seen
that's
Chucky season 3?
I haven't watched any of the TV show.
If you ever do, you're gonna have a newfound appreciation for Sea of Chucky. Season 1 is good. 2 is mixed. 3 is just god awful.
I've heard 2 and 3 aren't that great, but
2 I can
uh,
have fun with. 3,
I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna watch the Chucky series. Maybe I guess if I have no time on my or time on my hands, but time
and
is
that's a new
hard
movie.
to have. What did Brad say here? Season 3 of Chucky literally canceled. Yeah,
It did. Yeah.
canceled the show, and they're making another movie now. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, again, thank you for being a part of the stream and listening to me ramble about Scream and mess with my eye and turn the camera off to mess with my eye, itch my nose, and spill water and Gatorade all over the place. I don't know
How's
why
your
I was such.
keyboard?
How's it? It's actually kind of dry to a degree.
And it's working?
I think. Well, I haven't tried to. Let me see. Yeah,
Awesome.
water doesn't hurt much, but the Gatorade I kind of spilled off to the side here. Hopefully, we get my sheets. I guess I did a little bit. I'll have to wash those, but oh well, shit happens. I guess I shouldn't be such a klutz and have more room. I kind of got a mess behind my computer now, so I guess that's my fault for not having a cleaner work-ish environment. So we'll do this again soon, especially for Dexter. If there's any more Scream news that comes out that we have to talk about,
Hmm.
especially for the next month, since I have StreamYard for at least a month now, which wasn't happy about. But I'd rather have the 1080p versus the 720. Otherwise, I could have got
Yeah.
the free one that doesn't cost anything. So that's a Jason decision or JDev decision rather than do the cheaper one that gives you shittier quality. Not that 720
Hmm.
is that bad, but I'd rather have the 1080p.
Today's
And I don't.
standards,
Yeah,
75p is different.
yeah, I'd rather have 1080p versus 720. So appreciate you on here. I'm gonna let you go for the night, and yeah. Anything else you
Yeah.
have to say before we leave? Anything you want to promote? Anything else?
I'm just happy to be here to talk about things I love with everyone, anyone, really.
Right. Yeah, me too. I like talking about stuff. Sometimes I talk about too much. Hopefully, I didn't make any speaking errors, which tend to happen. I say the wrong thing sometimes when I mean something. So I'm going to get out of here. TParker, stay behind for just a few minutes so we can wrap it up with each other. And everybody else, again, Brad, Ryan, the other person that was in the chat, and anybody else that watches on the replay, I appreciate y'all for coming. And I don't have anything clever to say other than you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.